Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny. Yo!
Hey! We got Island Hanny in the building. If you're not watching on YouTube or on CST, you need to get to a monitor. We've got Island Charles Handegriff in the building.
Okay, so we came up with this idea earlier in the week that if you are tired of hearing nothing but bad news, if you are tired of COVID story after COVID story, and you really can't escape that unless you actually make an effort to. If you're just tired of doomsday stuff and I've had all the bad news I can take. I think we decided this after Tuesday's show. We're going to give you 3 hours today, okay? We can't make COVID go away, but what we can do is we can give you 3 hours of relief. So unless the moon explodes in the next 3 hours, we're promising you or the equivalent, the COVID equivalent of the moon exploding. We're going to give you 3 hours of COVID-free entertainment, and I thought I would dress appropriately for the occasion.
I think you did.
Which, you said you were going to wear a Hawaiian shirt. Went home, found out you didn't have any.
Yeah, I thought I did. No Hawaiian shirts in the closet, but I think that stands alone. I didn't want to take away from your sunshine because let me tell you,
I've got enough of them I could have shared. We live fairly close to each other. I could have, run it right down the street. I could have, might be a little big on you,
That's okay.
But I could have done that, so it's all right. You got a little camouflage on your LSU.
I got my LSU salute to service.
Cade dressed for the occasion today.
He did.
He came in his Hawaiian shirt. Well, I'm not sure Paul even listens to this show. He doesn't. Paul doesn't speak.
Hey, let me just tell you something. We are Paul's favorite show, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, Paul does a great job over there. You know what? Maybe Paul doesn't own a Hawaiian shirt either.
I bet he does. Oh, he's shaking his head no. Okay.
No, he does. I had enough.
There was a time, Hanny, when I would rock a Hawaiian shirt. When Gadzooks was open and they used to sell some Hawaiian shirts, I would wear one. Just don't have any anymore. Like most of my closet is nothing but like LSU team issue gear, as you probably know if you watch our show.
And I've got shirts. I've only worked here for forever, so I've got a lot of uniform shirts. That's what I wear. You're supposed to be. It's branding, right?
Well, I've worked here for 2 years, and I've got a shirt. Well,
shirt?
A quarter zip. A quarter zip.
They used to give us more shirts, but anyway. So no, I thought I would dress. I could have brought one for Paul too. I've got enough. There comes a time when you're starting to comfort is more important on a day like today. So I even brought the hat. The hat has requests. I'm gonna have to ditch the hat in favor of headphones here in a second. But we wanted to take just today. Okay, I mean I don't know how many days we're gonna be able to do this, but just today and put together a show that was going to talk about sports and hopefully emphasize some positive things, and I think we've done that. I think we've done that. Bottom of the hour today, Steve Ensminger is going to be on with us. Steve doesn't do a lot of interviews, but he's going to do one with us today, and we're going to talk LSU offensive football.
Yes,
with Slinger. Second hour today, Tyrann Mathieu. You gave Tyrann a call, and of course, on the defending Super Bowl champions, Chiefs, and all the great things that he's done in his career and in the community. Tyrann Mathieu is going to be on with us in the second hour today. In the third hour, Andrew Lopez, who broke the story on Zion Williamson not being in the bubble. We're going to talk with him in hour number 3 about what the Pels are going to do if Zion doesn't get back in time to start the schedule in 2 weeks. And we're going to wrap the show up at 2:30 with your old running mate in San Diego, Philip Rivers, is going to be with us.
I'm excited about it. I haven't, never really asked Philip to be on the radio. And sometimes, when you have your close friends, you never want to call in a favor.
Right.
But I started to think about it. I was like, who could talk football only? Right? Who could sit there on a Friday and not want to talk about, other things, but just talk about X's and O's and what it's like in a new spot and all those different things. And him and Tyrann were actually the first 2 names that popped into my brain. And I was cutting a promo yesterday, and it felt so awkward saying Indianapolis Colts quarterback Philip Rivers. That was like the first time it ever come out of my mouth, and it didn't feel right. But you know what? That's where he's at now, so can't wait to see what it's like for him after he was 15 years with the Chargers organization there. Now he's an Indianapolis Colt.
It felt equally unusual when Peyton Manning, who was a Colt forever, ended up with Denver. They put the transactions this used to be a big staple of the sports section when we had printed sports sections, the transactions page. And you see this team traded this guy, cut this guy,
Right.
signed this guy, etc. And the day I saw, Peyton Manning, the Indianapolis Colts waive Peyton Manning. Okay, this is the most bizarre waiver wire transactions label that I've ever seen. And when you see that Indianapolis Colts signed Phillip Rivers, it's startling to the eye. And you know him really well because you played with him. But this is a complete – moved his family from California to Florida, and now is going to be in Indianapolis. And, yes, that will be to see Tom Brady in Tampa and Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis.
Same year, right?
Will be a very strange thing come this fall.
Yeah, it will be. And I actually like the setup for Phillip. I like the Colts offensive line. I think they have some weapons. Yeah. They drafted a running back pretty early in this year's draft where we actually got a chance to see Island Hanny for the first time. And so the Colts actually – and Frank Reich was his offensive coordinator in one of his best seasons later in his career there with the Chargers. And so obviously he's the head coach there. So a lot of good things for Phillip moving forward, and I'm very, very interested in see how it plays out. And he actually has an offensive line that wasn't signed off the street on Thursday and starting on a Sunday, so that's going to be new for him as well, having a really nice offensive line, because early in his career there in San Diego, we had a really good offensive line, but because of injuries, all of those guys really had to retire early, and Phillip didn't get a chance to play with them for the length of his career. But going back to what you said about Peyton Manning, I can't tell you how many times in the NFL locker room that Peyton Manning's name is used as far as don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody in this locker room can get cut. You know how I know? Because Peyton Manning once got cut. And that's like the standard. Like for the rest of my career after he got released, it was like, hey, you want to get comfortable? Hey, Peyton Manning got released one time. They'll cut you in a heartbeat, right? And so that really became, whatever you want to call it as far as players like, hey, Lil Rook, if you want to get comfortable, let me tell you something.
We were doing the show. I remember when the day Manning got cut, we were doing the show down at a football camp at Nichols. We were down in Thibodaux. And Jimmy had the day off. This was when Derek was doing a show with us, and he and I were down there. And Jarvis Green was, was working the camp, was down there first, and he came by to visit with us. And he said, you got to. One of the things we'll be talking to the campers about is, hey, a lot of you guys are going to go on and play college football. Some of you may even play in the pros, but everything you do needs to be prepared for things besides football as well, life after football. Yep. He says, and if you don't believe it, it's because, did y'all see Peyton Manning got cut? It was like 2 days before. And I remember, it was Jarvis saying, it's like, hey, look, Peyton Manning gets cut, anybody can get. And look, there were circumstances around it.
Yeah, but still,
Peyton Manning was still good enough to win an MVP, was still good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Went to
and got cut. Yes, it was still good enough. So it wasn't like he couldn't play anymore.
Right.
And I know Andrew Luck made things a lot different. If an Andrew Luck isn't available, well, maybe it's a different story, of course. But still, Peyton Manning got cut. So there was one. So what you got planned for the weekend? Because I'm excited about what I got planned for the weekend.
Oh, Haney's got plans. So we've got share. It's Friday, so we have youth baseball on Friday. So we'll be out there at Traction, our last regular season game of what was supposed to be the spring baseball season. And so we've got one more game, and then we've got a little tournament. And so we we're going to live it up. It's going to be hotter than hot, but it's okay because we have live sports to sit there and watch.
So I'm going something I do about once every. This is another reason I'm dressed this way today. Was we got to make a little trip after the show. About every 2 years, I decide if somebody invites me, I'm going to go fishing. Okay, and I'm not a very good fisherman. I am a.
Can you be bad at fishing?
Well, let's say I'm not a skilled fish. I can fish.
Standard,
good Lord. Okay. Everybody can fish, but I'd say I'm not an avid fisherman. How's that? Okay.
Ooh, I like
but
that,
once every year and a half, 2 years, one of my friends will invite me and say, hey, somebody who really knows how to fish and where to go and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go fishing. We're gonna take a trip down. Now, there's an ulterior motive when you go fishing. There's a camp, and at the camp there's a card game. After the fishing. That's one of the things I actually do well. So the part of the dress is we're making a road trip, and I'm not going fishing in uniform. So just gonna go like this in the spirit of Cole Pops. Got to give props to my guy Moscona. Okay, he comes in every day, and of course one of the big big sponsors of his show is Sazerac, and they do a terrific job, and I've actually sampled it before. And so this is one of those deals where everybody's going to camp. Everybody got to bring something, right? Don't show up empty-handed. You're bringing some Sazerac. So thanks to the guys at Sazerac for you bring something for your host. Okay, so I'm bringing him some Sazerac, and I'm thinking that he'll share. So I'm excited about the fishing trip.
By the way, you did post game radio for the last 2 years with one of the best fishermen around, Richard Dick Dixon. So you should just hop on to his next fishing trip.
Well, and he did invite me down one weekend, which was a weekend where we had some event here that I couldn't go, but he did call. I got to give him credit. He did call in, so he split the assignment with Justin Vincent. So one of the games where he wasn't doing a show, JV was doing a show with me. He sent me a text like, I can call in, from the fishing camp because I got something I want to say. So even when he goes fishing, he's still, he's still plugged into the show, and I certainly appreciate that. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. Again, big show for you today. Glad you're with us. It is a COVID news-free day here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny. Remember, you can get us on YouTube, the 104.5 ESPN channel. You can chat with us live there. Also in the Bayou Ford Huddle. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hanny.
All right, as we've been telling you all week long, Hungry Howie's is giving you 51% off your pizza this week. Now, remember, you only have a couple days left to save 51% off. Also, you're going to get that free flavored crust with that 51% off. So butter, cheese. You've got ranch, onion, Cajun, sesame, garlic herb, all these different flavor crust options. It is free with this 51% off deal. Go to hungryhowies.com. Use the promo code 510FF at checkout. That's all you have to do to get your 51% off. We tell you all the time as well, so many different ways to get your pizza to you. You can do hungryhowies.com, of course. You can also call 761-HOWIE. They're open from 10 a.m. until 4 a.m. right there on Nicholson. Great location. You can't beat it. And also, the Hungry Howie's app is always available to you. So many different ways to get your pizza to you, and great specials, great deals all the time at Hungry Howie's. 51% off, 510FF at checkout at hungryhowies.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Tonight on Game Time, we're live from Just Winging It on Hoosha 2. Josh Booty and John Delamorte will join the show as we get you ready for the weekend. Join us tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. Catch us on YouTube, 104.5 ESPN. It is a COVID news-free Friday here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny. The Bayou Ford Huddle is buzzing a little bit about, I guess, the idea that we had. I think we got a lot of positivity going today. That's what today is about. A lot of people aren't quite as positive about my shirt, but hey, look, no, actually a lot of positive feedback about
good,
that.
Handy.
Believe it or not. Again, Steve Ensminger at the bottom of the hour, and Tyrann Mathieu, Andrew Lopez, Phillip Rivers, all with us in a big show today. I want to give you credit for something. And
I like this. None of my other hosts used to give me any credit.
Well, you got to give credit where credit is due. Yesterday we had a discussion about Jamal Adams and the contract situation they're in. And the situation he's in New York is not the most comfortable right now. But we talked about where his worth was as a player in regards to what his trade value might be, what his contract value might be. And then we compared it with, maybe the value of a running back. Well, yesterday, almost as soon as the show was over, ESPN put out their top 10 safeties in the NFL. And I'm very high on Jamal Adams, but you're even higher when it came to trade value and contract value, and they've got him ranked as the number one safety in all of the NFL. And I would have, I'm right there with you. One of the guys you compared him to yesterday said, listen, Minkah Fitzpatrick went for a first and another draft choice. He's better than Fitzpatrick. Well, he had the number one ranking, and Fitzpatrick was number 3. So when you're talking about value, we're trying to assess value now. The trade value for Fitzpatrick was a 1 and another pick. So what is the value for Adams if, at least according to this, the rankings are 1 and 3? Harrison Smith from the Vikings was number 2. And another guy, and you got to like this guy, and he missed nearly all of last season, but Derwin James with the Chargers was first defensive All-Pro, first team All-Pro as a rookie in 2 decades, I believe.
Yeah, he's a game changer. When he went out with injury, that changed that defensive mindset. They have really good edge rushers with Ingram and Bosa, but he is the guy that is the game changer in the back end. So when he went out, you knew they were going to miss Derwin James there in the back end just because of all the different things he can do. But when you pull up this list, and I just pulled it up, and I didn't see it yesterday when it broke, but I'm glad that it makes me look like I know what I'm talking about a little bit. I always love when that happens because usually it's the opposite way. But one of the stats that jumped out to me talking about Jamal Adams, and of course it has quotes from NFL executives all through this article. One NFL exec said he's the second best defensive player in football, only behind Aaron Donald. So that tells you what the NFL thinks of him. I didn't even realize this. His 12 sacks through his first couple of seasons are the most by a defensive back through 3 NFL seasons since sacks were first recorded in 1982.
Yeah.
So that that tells me that he's doing it on different levels. Anytime we talk about safeties, when we were talking about Grant Delpit in 2018, right, it was he can do it on 3 different levels. When we talk about Jacoby Stevens for LSU, they can do it on 3 different levels. That's what the game-changing safeties do. If you have a safety, Hanny, that's really good in coverage, but he's more of a back-end guy, you don't really see him on the line of scrimmage. You don't really see him stacked as a linebacker, maybe in some run situations. It's a valuable player, but when you've got a guy that you trust on all 3 levels, that's when he's a game changer. That's when he makes the money. That's when you can trade him for almost whatever you want. Those are the type of safeties that when I'm game planning, I'm scared of. I'm nervous because I need to know where they're at all times. And, early 2000s, mid 2000s, you had a bunch of those guys. You had Ed Reed, you had Troy Polamalu, you had Bob Sanders, who we talked about all yesterday, right? And then it went away for a little bit, but now it's starting to come back with Derwin James, with Jamal Adams, with Tyrann Mathieu, Harrison Smith, all these guys that can play on 3 different levels.
So Mathieu is number 6 on this list, and one of the quotes was that he might be higher on this list, except some people don't consider him a true safety. Yep. Okay, fair enough. At LSU, he was listed as a corner, but that didn't really do it justice. He sometimes played on the edge, sometimes played in the slot. He was as active up near the line of scrimmage as he was when he had to play back. You can argue about his deep coverage as they do in this piece, but his impact. But one of the points I thought was interesting in it is that you have to play to a scheme that utilizes everything he can do. So you tell me, when you have a Tyrann Mathieu on your team, or Jamal Adams, he's got some of those traits as well. He's just not quite the ball hawk that Mathieu was. You tell me the scheme that most utilizes their talent.
That's a great question. And when you look at everything Tyrann can do, it's almost like by position you just have an X by him, because he can do so many different things for you. Because we've talked about, Bo Pelini and what he's going to do for LSU's defense. We've talked about nickel Sams and nickel Wheels, right? Well, Tyrann's a guy that can play both those positions. He can play nickel. He can play safety. If you have to have him in the corner, position, is it where you want to have him? No, but he has all of those skills. And so if I'm a defensive coordinator and I've got a Tyrann Mathieu, then I'm allowing him to be that guy that just rovers wherever the play needs to be made. And not every team can do that, because if you do that, you have to have a player that can also back him up and kind of protect him a little bit. And that's what Ryan Clark was the best protector that I ever played against in the NFL for what he could do against Troy Polamalu, right? Troy could do what he wanted to do. Ryan could back him up and always be in the right position to make sure both of them were in line. And that's hard. You have to have a chemistry to do that. And sometimes when you have a player like Tyrann, you got to find another guy. The Chiefs have definitely done that. And I think that it's allowed Tyrann to kind of free up a little bit again, right? He's been able to be that guy that we've known him to be all over the field. And so if you have a guy like that, then your defense has to be a little bit free-flowing. It can't be, hey, you're going to line up here, you're going to be at this depth, you're going to do this. It can't be that if you've got a guy like that. And Jamal's kind of in the same way. Jamal needs some freedom back there as well, because I've played on teams, Hanny, where it's like, hey, we're going to be a cover 2 team, we're going to have 2 high safeties, and that's just the way we're going to play. You got to be at this depth. You can't get past this depth. Don't be too close to the line of scrimmage. And that works for some people. But with these safeties, you need to allow them to have the freedom to move around.
Now, since we were talking about value and what you want in a safety and how much they would be worth and how much a guy like Adams would be worth, I ask you, who are the top 2 safeties in the NFL when it comes to salary, total cash outlay? Because neither one of them made this list.
Top safeties as far as money.
Yeah. So this is cash for the upcoming year. This is not Tyrann had the top cap. Tyrann had the top cap hit last year. We're talking about total cash, top paid safety in the NFL for 2020.
I would think the top 2, I don't know which order, Landon Collins and Earl Thomas.
Yeah, close. Landon Collins and Devin McCourty. Okay. Earl Thomas's contract rolled big numbers last year, not as big cash this year. It's just in the structure. But yeah, Landon Collins and Devin McCourty, both really, really good players. That's your top 2 guys as far as salary goes. And I looked it up because Eddie Jackson was the top average salary before Tyrann signed his contract. And when Adams first asked for the trade, he said, I want north of what Eddie Jackson got. Yeah. And Eddie Jackson is scheduled to make a little over $13 million this year. And when you're on that rookie contract, he's going to make $13 million, and Jamal Adams is going to make $3.5 million. That's what his total cash is for this year. So he's a better player, and he's $10 million shy of the guy he was shooting for a year ago. And Jackson didn't even have as good a 19 as 18. He was great. 19, he was just okay. I can understand why you would be a little bit upset. Hey man, look, I'm $10 million shy this year.
Let's not forget that conversation we had yesterday about guys in his draft class that got paid. Same draft class.
All of them up at the top.
So when you start to hear Jamal Adams, you're like, Jamal Adams, what's he doing asking for money, asking for a trade? You have to know your worth. You only have so long in the NFL to make what you are worth. A lot of guys, Hanny, I would say 75%, maybe that's lowballing probably, don't get their worth in the NFL because you only have so many opportunities. So, yeah, if I'm Jamal Adams, I'm letting a lot of people know. A guy in my draft class that was picked in the 4th round and I was the number 6 overall pick has already gotten paid, and I am not getting paid. Okay, Christian McCaffrey got paid. Myles Garrett got paid. And you understand those. I'm not saying they shouldn't have. But, hey, I'm right here. Everybody's saying I'm the best safety in football. You've got execs saying I'm the 2nd best defensive player in football. And the guy that got picked in the 4th round is a good player. He's making $13 million, and I'm making $3.5 million. And so I understand it's a lot of money. I understand if you're not in that situation, you're like, you're making $3 million. Just go out there and play. But when you have the opportunity and you know your worth, you have to go get your worth because it only comes around so often in the NFL. How many guys have we seen that have been, in their prime, but because of injuries, because of other things, they just couldn't keep up? Bob Sanders is the perfect example.
Very good example.
There was no way Bob could play the way he played for a decade, but for 6 years, he was damn good, right? And so that was his window, and Bob got paid one time, and that's what he had to do because you don't know how long it's going to last.
Interesting stuff out of the safety, since we've spent a lot of time talking about safeties this week, but it feels good to talk about football. Yeah.
Oh, God. It's like got tingled in my neck.
COVID news-free Friday here. Steve Ensminger when we come back. This is Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
Gotros Outdoor Power. Right now, 2 locations for you to best get served for your property maintenance needs this summer. Listen, right now, Skaggs got a great deal going with 60 months interest-free. We've told you so often about the Skaggs, not just the big commercial mowers and the 0 turns, but the Liberties for residential use as well. When you buy a Skaggs, it's going to be backed up with a 5-year personal performance guarantee warranty, so you got 5 years of worry-free mowing and a free delivery from Gotros anytime you buy a new mower from them and Skaggs. And, of course, the biggest parts inventory anywhere in the state, guarantee you service after the sale. So all of your property maintenance needs, your pole saws, your chainsaws, your edgers, your blowers, your generators as we get deeper into hurricane season, all of them available at Gotros Outdoor Power. Airline at 74 in Gonzales, Airline at Industrialplex across from Brian Harris BMW in Baton Rouge. At Gotros Outdoor Power, we make it easy.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
Coming up on Monday's Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. What's the latest on college football and its status, as well as Zion's departure from the bubble? Plus, we hand out our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. Join us now, LSU offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger. LSU getting ready as we get closer and closer towards the season. Coach, good afternoon. How are you?
Charles, how y'all doing?
We're doing outstanding. Kind of give us an idea of what your schedule's like. What are you doing right now, and how it's changed in your preparation, given some of the circumstances and protocols?
Well, what we've done is gone to the office, and we're allowed this past week we're allowed to have 2 hours a week with our players. So on Monday and Thursdays we have about a 30-minute meeting, and then we're actually allowed to go on the field and be with our players for 30 minutes. No contact, no ball, no. So we're allowed to individually take our quarterbacks, receivers, everybody else, do individual drills and do drills with them, and that's it. So what we've done is we've kind of installed basically our first 15 practices for August, and we kind of did it in the spring through Zoom, and so now we're actually walking out there and kind of walking through that kind of stuff after individual, and then hopefully in August we'll be able to do it again. So we're trying to three-peat everything.
Coach, one of the things that I've noticed throughout this whole situation is the leadership has actually stood up and stood tall, even though they haven't necessarily had a normal situation. You see Miles Brennan, you see Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, some of the offensive leaders really take control of the team when you couldn't have these team organized activities. And actually, I think through organically, it actually helps the team. And now that leadership, we all know who exactly the leaders are.
You know, I had talked to them on Monday, and we talked about that. And it is. And you're exactly right. Number one, we talked about, hey, to be champions, or to first of all, you got to have talent. Second of all, you got to have discipline on this team, which we had. And third thing is the leadership and taking control of your room and making sure everybody's doing the right things, making sure everybody's working hard and everything else. And our players have done that, since they've been back. Our quarterbacks have thrown the ball 3 days a week with receivers and tight ends and running backs. Our offensive line is out there doing not some one-on-one stuff, but just doing fundamental drills. So, you know what? Right now it's a players-only team. We get a chance to spend 30 minutes with them. And that's about it. So they have taken the initiative, and I'm excited about the quarterback room. I'm excited about the leadership in our offensive line room. I think Chris Curry's done a great job in the running back room, and Jamar and Terrence. So I'm liking where we're at leadership-wise, and I think we're not going to do anything but benefit from it.
Coach, how important is it that Miles has been around you, right, his whole time at LSU? Even though he will be a new starter, he is comfortable with everyone around him. He's done everything the right way. I've got to imagine that gives him a leg up to other new starters throughout the SEC.
I agree with you, and he's kind of taking that role on. I think probably the best thing that happened to him is spending 2 years behind Joe Burrow, and Miles is a natural leader. He really is. First of all, the team likes him. Everybody. He's kind of a guy who wants to please everybody, so they all like him. And kind of like he had to learn to demand that they do this, and he's done that. And when we were watching film this morning on some of the installation and everything else, and I didn't realize the number of plays that Miles actually had a chance to get in ball games last year. And what we were doing offensively, it wasn't like just to run out the clock and run the football. He was able to throw the football and make plays, and if you don't go back and look at it, you kind of lose what he did. But he was very good when he was in the ball game.
Coach Steve Ensminger is our guest. Coach, how would you describe the differences in working with Scott Linehan as opposed to Joe Brady?
We've kept our schedule the same. Scott's really is in charge of our third down, our tight zone area, and everything else, and has input in our passing game in every aspect. But it's been good. We've kind of tried to expand it. Hey, we say we had a great offense and we had a great passing game. How do we make it better? And how do we move receivers around so they can't double team these guys? So he's brought a lot to the table. I've had a chance to watch a lot of his Dallas film, a lot of his Detroit film, and everything else. And the whole key is how do we move players around, and how do we take the system that we have right now and make it better? And I tell you, Scott's done a great job with it.
Coach, you and I were talking on the Coaches Caravan a couple of weeks ago, and you were talking about the offensive line, and you wanted to see a couple of guys step up and really push each other in those position battles. Liam Shanahan is a guy that Coach O has talked about in length the last couple of weeks, talking about him stepping up. Have you seen that from the offensive line overall as far as guys trying to step up and compete for some of these jobs?
I really have. I think we're excited about having Liam. I'm going to tell you, he's an older guy, obviously very intelligent young man, and he has a great work ethic. But our team has a great work ethic. So as he came in there, he just joined the group and everything else. And the beauty of it is what Coach O was talking about is, heck, he's played 2 positions already that we've evaluated on film, and he can play center. So there's some versatility there. Going into this year, we thought, okay, you lost 4 offensive linemen. What do you do? But you look at it and you say, okay, our left tackle coming back this year, he has game experience. Our left guard has game experience. Our Jason Hines has game experience. Austin Deckers has game experience. Now Liam brings some game experience to our 5th position, and it enables us to move centers and guards and everything else around. So it gives us more depth, and it gives the older, mature guy in the room that's a pretty darn good leader.
Hey, Coach, you think coming out of Evangel I could have gotten into Harvard and played football there?
You probably could, Hester, but there's no way I could have.
Coach, with Kevin Falk on staff now, we know what he brings from a standpoint of coaching those players up. I'm wondering what he's brought to your room that he may have shared from his time in New England, whether it be schematics or philosophy.
Well, it's not as much schematics, but I tell you, we had 2 great conversations in the last 2 days about some of our running plays and how he viewed them and our landmarks and where the eyes should be and everything else. And some of the routes that, hey, this is how he saw it when he played. Great idea. You want to talk about, heck, I listened to him as a player. I mean, I listened to him. He's coaching me, and he said, well, should our eyes be here? Should our landmarks be here? And if it is, do we change the footwork of our quarterback and all that? And I love that meeting room. I love the ideas of asking Kevin. We sat down this morning and spent an hour on just our running tracks for our backs and quarterbacks. We had an individual period yesterday with no ball when our running backs running routes, and we discussed how we're going to run them, the depth we're going to run them at. He brings a lot to the room, and I love he's there because I know this. Hell, I'm bright-eyed when I talk to him, so I know them players are.
Coach, that's something we talked about yesterday was the running back's ability last year, and we're talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to be in these two-man route combinations with the receivers, and it looked like he was a receiver out there. I always go back to the Florida play where Jamar Chase catches the touchdown that kind of puts a nail in the coffin there in that game. That's one of the more important part of this offense, isn't having the running backs have the ability to be out there as a receiver, to be ready to obviously catch the ball, but to run those routes in those two-man route combinations to make it look natural and seamless.
There's no doubt. And, again, we talked about it this morning is, hey, I know those guys can run the football. All of them on this team can run the football, and I'm very confident in that. It's what they're going to bring to the passing game. And it's, I've seen, Chris Curry. I've seen he has gotten so much better catching the football. He has worked at it. I've walked through the indoor leaving. He's down there catching balls from a quarterback. And it's in our choice games and the receiver. The running back reading the linebacker, reading the defense back, how they're going to play and get out of the break and make right decisions and everything else. We talked about this morning. That's something that they have to do every day. And it is a big deal when you're calling plays. It's who's in the ball game. He can't be there for third down, or he can be there for third down. So we're trying to make every one of them the total package, just like Clyde was.
One of the things that people are most excited about based off of last year and the year that Thaddeus Moss had is the use of the tight end, and we hear nothing but great things about Eric Gilbert and what a big recruit that he was. Coach, could you kind of describe what you've seen from him so far and some of the things that he may bring to this offense that are unique to his skill set?
He is a very good player. There's no doubt about it. He's I don't think he had to block a whole lot in high school, and during the course of spring, he didn't go through spring. He's going to have to do some blocking for us. We're going to run this football. To set up play action passes, and then we're going to put him in positions to get a one-on-one. The beauty of our tight end position is when you flex them out and defenses try to match it, it's usually the fourth defender having to cover him, meaning, hey, they're not going to cover him with corners. They're going to decide whether to put a safety on him or a linebacker on him. And so, hey, we're always looking for the mismatches. We're always looking for how do we match Jamar up here? How do we match Terrence up here? I think we have a chance now to say how we're going to match up Eric, or how they're going to play it, or they're going to play just dime. If they're going to play dime, we allow them to just run the ball every damn play, But if they're going to play nickel, they're going to play base, they're going to have a linebacker or a safety cover him. And you know what? I think his athletic ability, his speed, his ball skills, I think is a pretty good matchup for the Tigers.
Coach, we could sit here and talk about Jamar Chase all interview long because of what he did last year, what he's going to do this year. But Terrace Marshall, and you just mentioned him there, is one of the guys that if he doesn't get hurt last year, I would have loved to seen his numbers at the end of the year because they were already impressive even with missing a couple games there. And also Racey McMath seems like a guy that's ready to take over and be a starter on this football team as well. So can you kind of talk about the receivers behind Jamar Chase?
Well, and you lost me there, and the reason you lost me is because, as we're going through this, you think of Jamar last year, he was our X. He was into the boundary most of the time. We moved him to the field in certain formations, everything else. But I'll be honest, I apologize here. We've moved him around this spring and in zooms and in different positions that, hell, I'd have to talk about every position to tell you that. It's one thing I do know, we're not going to line him up just an X and have defense to have a chance to double team him. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with Terrace Marshall. The one thing we're trying to improve on with our scheme is to move those two guys around interchange them in the X and the F and the Z position to where, hey, you know what, we're gonna get our best matchup right here. And I agree with everything you're saying about Racing McMahon. I think he's going to have a great year. You know, the times he touched the ball last year was outstanding. The times that, he's a big physical runner and everything else, and it's hard for people to press him. So those three receivers right there, I'm really excited about it. We just got to do a great job of putting them in different positions to make the defense adjust to it.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck to you as we get towards closer to when we can get started here, we hope. So have a great weekend, and thanks for spending some time with us.
I appreciate it. And Hester, you're abusing our friendship here, okay? I don't do interviews.
I know.
But hell, I never turn you down. So hey, leave me alone.
Hey, Coach, I know. I only ask you about once every 6 months. The last time it was a coach's caravan, and so only about every 6 months I'm going to bug you and ask you to come on here.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach. I'm about every 6 months I try to reach out to Slinger.
Right. Well, no, it's great.
The last one was
a
coach's caravan, and so that was through TAF. Even though I hosted it, that can't be on me. That's not one of my 6 months tokens. I gotta right.
Well,
and the other time was on OTB, and so that doesn't count on me either. Right?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Steve whether that counts or not.
So Coach Minger and I go way back. He was actually a coach at West Monroe High School when we played against them, and obviously, his son was on the team there, really good athlete, and so we've known each other for a very long time. And then he recruited Shreveport; that was his territory. And so, anytime that he came up to Calvary, Evangel, whatever school he was up there recruiting, we would try to get together. And so, I appreciate Coach Ensminger's relationship. I almost burned the bridge during the national championship parade when I made the entire PMAC stand up and give him a round of applause because, as y'all all know, he does not want any of the credit.
No.
But he is such a good football coach. And last year he did so many magical things. And I felt like in that moment he deserved a round of applause. I went off script a little bit because this is a man that has done nothing but great things for LSU. He is so loyal to LSU. And I wanted the entire PMAC to recognize Coach Ensminger, even though I got that I'm going to get you later stare when I did it.
Right. It is a business that is consumed many times by egos and who gets the credit and who gets the promotion and who gets the raise. And you're almost bound to yourself to have to promote yourself in order to, advance at times. Steve Ensminger, I'm convinced, would be the happiest guy in the world if his picture wasn't in the media guide, if he could walk into the stadium, run the game, walk out, and nobody ever knew who he was. And it's rare. It's rare in any business, actually, but it's especially rare in that business.
I don't know another offense coordinator on this level that would have embraced the situation last year where you've got Joe Brady coming in, and Steve did not care who got the credit. Because let me tell you something, Steve wouldn't tell you this. I know how much of the play calling Steve did. I know in every situation it was Steve's game, right? So I know all of those things, and he doesn't care, though. Like, he doesn't care who gets the credit. He cares about what the LSU Tigers do and what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. And I literally cannot sit here and tell you, yeah, that offense coordinator is probably like that too.
It's rare. And, you're talking about him doing 2 interviews with you a year, and if his ideal number is 0, how many interviews do you think he turned down last year?
Oh,
and most coaches wouldn't.
Like you said, I'm abusing the friendship.
We'll take a break, come back here with more. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Can you take advantage of great rates right now? You can take advantage of historically low rates right now. If you've been thinking about getting into the market for a new home, these rates may allow you to purchase up better than you could have before. A refi might be what you're looking for right now. Free up a little bit of cash with the ability to skip a mortgage payment or 2, and, of course, the long-term benefits for it with the lower interest rate as well. Talk with a counselor from GMFSmortgage.com. They'll lay out all of your options and proceed with you from there all the way through to your closing. You're going to be really happy with their service, and you're going to be, I think, pleasantly surprised at how fast the process goes. So do what I did and do what thousands of others have done. Let them change your life. GMFSmortgage.com.
Top speed.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tonight on Game Time, we're live from Just Winging It on Hoosha 2. Josh Booty and John Delamorte will join the show as we get you ready for the weekend. Join us tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
You know, you had me thinking when you were asking about Terrace Marshall during that segment with Steve Ensminger, what happens if he plays the whole season. And you know, my first thought was, and this is not to be negative, like, you know, Jamar Chase probably wouldn't have won the Biletnikoff. Then I looked at the numbers, and that's probably wrong. He probably still would have. Because remember, Chase missed a game last year. And Marshall missed 3.
Yep.
So you're talking about a 2-game difference. You take half of Marshall's stats and take them off of Chase's numbers, he still wins the Biletnikoff. I mean, if you take even 150 yards off his total, 2 touchdowns off of his total, and let's say 8 catches, maybe 10 catches off his total, he still wins based on the number of touchdowns and the average yards per catch.
Hanny,
he still wins it.
The NFL draft was Jamar Chase's highlight tape.
No,
that's what it was. All the first-round corners, the second-round corners were getting beat by Jamar Chase. It was literally his highlight tape. The poor kid from Clemson still hasn't covered him.
Right.
And I believe the Falcons drafted him, so he's just going to continue that misery when he's covering Michael Thomas in the Superdome in the same building. But Jamar Chase's season last year, heck, Justin Jefferson season last year. I mean,
Justin Jefferson caught 111 balls last year and didn't win the Biletnikoff.
Didn't even get invited to the show.
27. He caught 27 balls more than Chase, and Chase won the Biletnikoff.
I mean, Jamar Chase last year, and you saw it his freshman year that he could be special, was going to be special. Terrace Marshall also special, going to be a first-round pick. Maybe at the beginning of the season, the most trusted receiver for Joe Burrow was Terrace Marshall in the red area in different parts.
I think in the first 3 games he was.
For sure.
Yeah. It's an
pick your poison.
Breathtaking amount of talent. I mean, it really is.
Watch out for Racing McMath this year.
Oh, I know. And he, what the third best guy, fourth best guy, fifth best guy covers him? Good luck with that. Tyrann Mathieu, part of our show here in hour number 2. This is Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard Hondo, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with it.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van,
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hannegriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hannegriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Thank you for joining us on a Friday afternoon. It is, by definition, by our decree here, a COVID news-free show today. So whether you're watching us on YouTube, 104.5 ESPN, you can go subscribe to the channel there on CST. Listen up in Shreveport area, the 1130, The Tiger, are here with us, 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge. Thank you for being with us. And yes, it is the COVID News-Free Friday has unleashed Casual Friday as far as wardrobe. Yes, I'm going fishing this weekend. Yes, I'm dressed for the occasion just to be comfortable and enjoy just a few hours away from maybe some of the more somber news out there. We ain't got it today.
We don't have it today.
We got much better today. Coming up here in 30 minutes, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, will be with us. So we're looking forward to that. Phillip Rivers will be with us in hour number 3. Thanks to everybody for joining us today, and also thanks to folks at Sazerac. They're sponsoring my trip.
Yeah, that's Hanny's fishing trip.
My fishing trip today. So this is Joe Burrow news that I want to get your take on, because the Bengals have just signed AJ Green to a franchise tender for $18 million, and Joe Burrow obviously going there and going to be the starting quarterback. The Bengals had an opportunity to move A.J. Green. They knew that he was coming up, his contract was coming up, and there were teams in contention that would have given the Bengals something of value for A.J. Green. The Saints were one team that inquired last year. Now, what would A.J. Green have fetched on the trade market? I don't know, but he's 31 years old, and the Bengals said, no, we're keeping him. Burrow kind of sent a shot across the bow to the Bengals when in the pre-draft stuff it was like, listen, I'm going there to win, and we've got to do certain things to win. And the Bengals have always adhered to about as bland a philosophy, and bland is a really nice word.
They spent more money this free agency than I think they've ever spent combined.
I was trying to find something better than cheap, okay?
Yeah. Hey, I played for some cheap organizations. I know.
Okay.
Well, one cheap organization.
Right. Okay. And look, the Bengals make the Chargers look like the New York Yankees.
You're right.
Okay. So not only did they spend some money in free agency, but there needed to be some restructuring. And for instance, their front office facility, their front office staffing is extremely lacking. Their facility extremely lacking. That all goes back to ownership. But the point being that in that philosophy of not spending a lot of money, it's also that we get our guys, we hang on to our guys. We don't trade draft picks. We don't go into, not only do we not go into free agency, but we keep our guys. So when AJ Green was like, listen, we stink. I'm a veteran. I'd like to win. If you want to move me, go ahead and move me. And we saw him, although he didn't play, he was working out pregame. I remember one game they were playing the Steelers, and all of the pregame stuff was on Green working out, not even in uniform. He was just in warm-ups. And they were like, hey, is A.J. Green getting ready to be traded? And the Bengals were like, nope, we're going to keep him. So they come in and they give him this franchise tender today, and they're going to keep him. Now, A.J. Green was for a long time one of the top, I say, 3 or 4 receivers in football. He was phenomenal at Georgia. We saw some of those great battles with Patrick Peterson back when LSU was playing them. And I just thought the world of A.J. Green as a receiver. I think he's tremendous. Or should I say I think he was tremendous, because
we don't know.
Well, when a receiver turns 31, it's not a guarantee that you're going to hold up like Terrell Owens did into his 30s, or Randy Moss did into his 30s, or Jerry Rice did into his late 30s. A lot of receivers, they get to that age and they lose a step, and it's fair to ask that A.J. Green is no longer the receiver that he once was. He did not play any games a year ago. He played roughly half the season.
He played 9
the year before that. Yeah, roughly half the season, and came in at under 700 yards. I mean, there were 40 receivers that caught more balls than him.
Right.
You got to go back to the 2017 season when A.J. Green was still A.J. Green, and that was a good season. I wouldn't call it a great season. That was 3 years ago. He caught 75 balls for a little over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. There's nothing wrong with those numbers, but when you think back to A.J. Green's big years, when he caught 100 balls for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns, that's the A.J. Green that the Bengals are paying for. Well, he was 26 years old then.
Right. Yeah, 31 is old in the NFL unless you're a quarterback.
Given where the Bengals are, I would have, and I'd really want your opinion on this, because if it was me, I'm the GM, I'm like, I'm going to move A.J. Green while he still has value. I'm not going to pay big dollars for him next year, and I'm going to recoup those draft assets and try to bring in somebody younger that when we're into year 3 of this rebuild and Burrow is ready to take off, as you know, hopefully we think one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL at that point, then I'll have a guy. A.J. Green's going to be 33, 34 by that time. I'm not investing big dollars in a 31-year-old receiver.
Yeah, you're not going to give him a long-term deal, but here's what you did do. You talked with your quarterback. You talked with Joe Burrow, and he wanted A.J. Green. I don't think there's any question about that, and he didn't really try to hide the fact that he wants A.J. Green on this football team. You have a couple of nice pieces at receiver, not yet stars. You've got some guys with a lot of talent there. John Ross has not worked out yet. He's been injured. We know he can run fast straight, but he has not worked out yet, right? And so you needed a veteran presence. You needed a guy that you can grow with. You needed a guy that you can create a chemistry with. You're not going to give him a long-term deal. He was never going to get 3-4 years from the Bengals or any other team. But what I can do for a year, so I can get my quarterback comfortable, my rookie quarterback, I can give him a veteran 31-year-old receiver. I'm going to be under the salary cap, so the $18 million is not going to hurt us because we know we're cheap. I'm surprised they spent $18 million on one player, right? That's just not typically their MO. And
well, so, they had to do that too. But it, continue. I'm sorry.
No, but so they do that because they want to get Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow again made it known he wanted A.J. Green on this football team. He wanted that veteran guy on his football team where he knows in 3rd and 11 I can throw it up to him and he still has a chance to go get it. And so I actually like the deal. It's a 1-year deal. If it works out this year, if it gets the Bengals to 8-8. Right, and Joe Burrow feels more comfortable because he has this guy, then $18 million is well worth it. And so is this better, play behind him? Absolutely. I mean, he's just a guy. He's 31 years old. There's no question about that. He's a guy that didn't play all last year. He only played 9 games the year before. But if you can get something, if you can get 55 catches for 800 yards, I think it's worth it. I truly do, because of what he gives you in the locker room, what he gives your quarterback as far as confidence, because they don't have star power out there on the outside now. They got some guys that have potential of being stars, but you had to make this move to make your rookie quarterback, who you just spent the #1 pick on, a little bit more comfortable and having that veteran target. Because I understand what you're saying about trading him and getting some draft picks, but what would you have really gotten?
Probably a 3. A 3 or 4. But I can get a 3 or a 4, and maybe I pick up, if my scouting department is doing their job, a 3rd-round pick can become a starter. So if I pick up a 3 and I pick up a guy whose salary I can control for the first 4 years of his deal, and then I take this money and I go out, I'm all with you on the veteran receiver. I got no problem with that. I just don't know if A.J. Green can run anymore. Yeah. So I take that money and I go out and I get 2 years of Emmanuel Sanders instead of 1 year of A.J. Green. I get 2 years of Robbie Anderson instead of 1 year of A.J. Green. I understand what Joe Burrow wants. Joe Burrow wants the A.J. Green Joe Burrow wants the A.J. Green that he watched play when he was in high school. I don't think that's A.J. Green anymore. It's serious. He's from Ohio.
Right.
5 years ago, he watched A.J. Green.
It's just funny to think about it.
Dominate. Yes. 5 years ago, A.J. Green was one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in football. He just isn't anymore. I would have taken the draft choice. I would have taken the money. I would have gone and signed. And I'm not joking. They signed him to an $18 million deal today. The Saints signed Emmanuel Sanders to a 2-year deal worth about $16 million, okay? Robbie Anderson signed a 2-year deal for $20 million, so almost 2 years there. I would have gone out and signed a cheaper receiver, a veteran receiver that was cheaper and that I knew was healthy, rather than putting this money in A.J. Green and recouped a draft choice. That's me.
Anderson makes more sense than Emmanuel Sanders would, just because
it's a lot younger.
And the body type. And the body type. And Emmanuel Sanders is one of the best slot receivers, right, in the NFL. during his time, and he still has a lot of value for the Saints. But, you know, they're familiar with him. He is really the only player outside of Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon to some extent, that the public outside of Ohio could probably name. And so that goes into it a little bit as well. I mean, I agree with everything you just said. If you can get a third-round pick and if you can spend that money, but this has been Joe Burrow's kind of, hey, I want AJ Green. And I laugh, but you're exactly right. Like, he saw him growing up in Athens, Ohio. He saw him as the Bengals, and he saw him mossing people out there. And I understand all those points as well. But, look, the Bengals, this is typically not something they would do. Maybe they've done it so wrong for so long. They're like, hey, you know what? We're actually going to listen to our quarterback. We're not going to treat him like we did Carson Palmer or Andy Dalton, and we're going to give him at least 1 year of AJ Green.
How to say this and make it – I'm all for listening to your quarterback when he says go upgrade, you know, your personnel. But Joe Burrow has not had a whole lot of time to go and evaluate NFL free agents. I mean, that's somebody else's job. And again, he's probably remembering an AJ Green that no longer exists. This is why you get general managers and scouts that are supposed to be doing their job. Coaches do their job. Coaches don't see the wide picture sometimes. They see one guy, they like that guy, they keep that guy. Hang on. There's another guy out there that might be just as good for cheaper. That's the wide-angle lens. And Joe Burrow shouldn't be expected to have to be talent evaluator or general manager. That's not his job. That's why I say, listen, yeah, Joe, we're going to go get you some guys. We're going to go get you some talent. We're going to get you a veteran in here that you can work with. But it ain't that guy. Yeah. Now, if AJ Green comes back and catches 100 balls this year for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, I'll come in. I'll say, look, I was wrong. But I'm skeptical about giving somebody that much money that hasn't played in a year and a half and is on the wrong side of 30.
Okay, so typically we used to do bets between me and the co-host on the show. Hunt Palmer, by the way, still owes me a steak from Kansas beating Texas Tech. Right. He said that Les Miles would never win a Big 12 game. While he was a coach at Kansas, they did in year one. Not one. I love my odds, by the way. And they won one in year one.
Hunt knows nothing about value betting.
And he still hasn't paid me.
Okay.
He's like that guy because he didn't pay up on his bet.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and set the table. What do you get? Like, I'll take 55 catches, and I'll take 750 yards for AJ Green. Are you going to go under that?
I don't know if I'm going to go under that, but is that worth $18 million? I mean, if you signed AJ Green for $18 million and he caught 55 balls for 750 yards and 5 touchdowns, is that worth it?
If it's 9 touchdowns, maybe, because the receivers they had, that was one thing.
You said 5 touchdowns.
That was one of the things that they struggled with a year ago, because Tyler Boyd had 90 catches, only had 1,000 yards, so only 11 yards per catch. You know, it's not the big play, deep threat guy. Only had 5 touchdowns. So they're looking for a guy in the red zone, because even you go down the list, they only had, let's see, if you take the tight ends out of this and you take the backs out of it, they only had 12 receiving touchdowns from receivers last year. So that's something else that they're paying attention to. They want that guy in the red zone. So I'm the touchdowns is a big factor here.
Yeah, the touchdowns is a big factor because there were only 3 receivers in the NFL last year that had double-digit touchdown receptions. And so yes, if you can get to that, but it was the 55 receptions that threw me. You know how many guys caught more balls than 55 last year in the NFL? 54 players caught more than that last year. I mean, Jason Witten came out of the Monday Night Football booth and caught more balls than that. So I'm just saying, where's your money going? $18 million.
What has to be the numbers to live up to $18 million for you?
$18 million. You need to be a top 10 receiver at least.
And you get paid like one.
Yeah, I'm giving him. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. You know, the 10th best receiver in the NFL last year was Austin Eckler. Okay, who's a running back?
Hey, don't be talking about.
No, I love Austin Eckler. Caught the 10th most balls. So let me use a wide receiver. Robert Woods caught 90 balls for 1,100 yards for the Rams last year. Now he only had 2 touchdowns, but 90 balls for 1,100 yards.
That's the problem, though. Get you
in the top 10. Get you in the top 10. Okay, wouldn't you say that's an anomaly though? That if you catch 90 balls, not catching more than 2 touchdown passes is just a statistical oddity.
And
more
Boyd, 90
than
catches, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, the touchdowns is a good point. I won't argue that. But to answer your question, $18 million, you should be a top 10 receiver. And I don't know that he can still do that.
Put a pin in this. January 1st, we're going to come back and we're going to see exactly what AJ Green did.
You get a book. You got to get a different color than blue. Maybe we get like a green book or something.
My notebook is literally blue, by the way, that I have in here. I thought we were bonding over something. I thought I'd just step into the blue book.
Kay, do I still have rights to some of the intellectual properties from Sports Today? Can I take blue book? Yeah,
I think since legal? It's part of you were part at least 50%.
Right.
The bits that didn't transfer to Game Time are yours.
Are you older than Jimmy?
No, Jimmy's older than me.
Well, hold on. You had Sports Today prior, right?
I did.
So
I did. Okay.
There's a law that carries.
I'm going to take the intellectual property and let him keep the actual book.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
Right. And we'll bump him some Sazerac while we're at it. Tyrann Mathieu with us at the bottom of the hour, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we've been telling you about Hungry Howie's all week. Again, 51% off deal only goes through this week, so please take full advantage of that 51% off. Use promo code 51OFF at checkout there on hungryhowies.com. Remember, you can always go to hungryhowies.com and check out the deals. It's right there in the top right corner of the website. They have always got incredible deals going on, and this is yet again another huge one with this 51% off. Again, use code 51OFF at checkout. Free flavored crust, butter cheese, Asiago cheese, ranch, onion, Cajun, sesame, all the free flavored crust there, and so many different ways to get that to you. HungryHowies.com, 761-HOWIES the phone number. 10 a.m. until 4 a.m. is the hours over at the Nicholson location, the Hungry Howie's app, all these incredible ways to get that Hungry Howie's to you. Also, remember, they are hiring. You can apply for a job at HungryHowies.com. So many different things you can do there on the website. And remember, 51OFF at checkout.
Sports will be back.
But for now, we're all rooting for a different kind of hero.
Let's embody the best parts of sports.
Teamwork,
sacrifice,
resilience.
One goal, together.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Coming up on Monday's Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. What's the latest on college football and its status, as well as Zion's departure from the bubble? Plus, we hand out our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Failure happens to us all.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Also get us on our YouTube page, 104.5 ESPN. All of our live streaming video goes there, and you can chat with us in our chat feature on the side there. Also on CST, of course. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. Give you an update from the Memorial. Ryan Palmer is tied for the lead with Tony Finau, both of them at 9 under par in the clubhouse. John Rahm, 2 strong rounds, came in 67 today. He's 1 shot off at 8 under. But the story there is that Tiger Woods has been flirting with the cut line. The cut line is at +2, and Tiger Woods is at +3. So, and he's in with a 76 today. So the cut line is going to have to come back with one stroke for Tiger Woods to make the cut. And
started out strong yesterday.
He did. He had a very good start to the tournament, but did not have a very good round today. So Palmer and Finau up at the top, and John Rahm 1 shot off the lead. Shot 67 today. Gary Woodland is one of the golfers at 6 under par. Is 3 shots off the lead. You know what's a cool thing is we're doing a COVID news-free Friday here. Is that you know next Friday, 1 week from today, we're going to have games to talk about. Next week at this time, we'll have baseball.
I know it.
And a week after that, we'll have basketball. I mean, we're almost there, right? You know, when it's weeks off, when it's a month off, when you don't know when it's coming there. And I know you've been inundated with a lot of the football news, but we're not going there right now, not today. a week from today, Hunt Palmer is in the front of his TV with a Bud Light, watching. Hendricks got the opening day start, right?
Yep.
We will actually have American baseball on our TV.
I'm ready for it. I am so ready for live sports back in our country. And, of course, we've had the MLS. That was the first team sport to come back, which we're not going to talk COVID here on this Friday, but they do have positive COVID news coming out of the MLS. Good. And so we'll leave it at that. And I think that the closest model that college football is paying attention to is Major League Baseball. So I'm so glad to have that back. I'm so glad to be moving forward and to actually see games. We talked with Chipper Jones earlier in this week, and he got me fired up about baseball and my team, the Braves, signing Puig, making some moves there. We're starting to hear opening day starters. We know that the Nationals and Yankees are going to play now. That was confirmed today, so all that's positive, and I cannot wait to sit down and complain about the Braves blowing a 2-run lead in the 8th and 9th. Like, I'll do it yesterday.
Have you ever, just wanted to say, you know what, I want to be upset about an umpire's call?
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Can I be upset about an umpire's call or a manager?
Umpire.
A human umpire. Can I be upset about a manager yanking a pitcher too early or not yanking a pitcher in time, yanking him too late? Can I go with that?
I'm also glad that baseball is making a relief pitcher face 3 batters. Like, we're not going to have the one-offs, the specialists. And maybe because I'm a left-handed hitter and I hated every time I got up there, it's like, oh, they're going to a lefty. Here he comes, and he comes right now, right? I like that. It speeds the game up a little bit, and it forces some of these guys in the bullpen to work a little bit more, right? These coaches have to be a little bit smarter with how many times they change a guy out, who they use in certain situations. You got to pay attention to, this guy's a lefty. We got 2 coming up, but that righty kills lefties. I mean, he's batting .480 against lefties, whatever that number might be. And so that part of it I like. I know some people disagree with that, but I like the fact that you can't just come in, face one lefty, go back, and then drink cold pops in the locker room.
You're not a loogie guy then.
No.
You know, a loogie, left-handed one-out guy.
I'm not. No, I am not. I am absolutely not.
So you probably didn't like Jesse Orozco very much.
Well, I'm sure he's a great person, but
Jesse Orozco pitched in more games than anybody in the history of the league, and Jesse Orozco pitched deep into his 40s. And now he was a closer for the '86 Mets, which is terrific team.
Yeah.
I mean one of the better modern era teams.
We forgot
for 1 year.
to ask Chipper Jones about owning the Mets. I had a line I was going to use.
Well, he named one of his boys Shea, right? Yeah.
Well, someone in the huddle said, "Hey, ask Chipper if he's going to jump in with A-Rod, and since he already owns half the Mets, anyways."
Right. A-Rod got himself in a little bit of a bind yesterday when he was talking about. He says he didn't say the word salary cap. I didn't hear the whole interview, but he's definitely talking about keeping costs down. I mean, it's
He's
the same.
Literally broke the model, by the way.
Right. It's sort of the same thing that Michael Jordan did. But he was pro player when he was a player, and now he's pro owner because he's an owner.
Yeah.
A-Rod was pro player, pro union, and Tony Clark, who I'm not wild about, it's some of the things he's done with the union, but one of the things he said was, Alex took advantage of all that stuff more than maybe anybody when he was a player, and now he wants to talk about revenue splits now that he's potentially going to become an owner of the Mets. Yeah, I mean, I love me. Who do you love?
There was so many former big leaguers and current big leaguers that quote tweeted all of that A-Rod news yesterday, and we're like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?"
How do you think he got in position to own a Major League Baseball team in the first place? Besides dating J-Lo, but
yeah, it doesn't hurt.
She's got a little bit of cash too, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we've had segments about this, and I know we're going to take a break because we got the Honey Badger coming up, but it is funny how some guys that in the steroid era that got caught, right, they get a pass and they're still part of Major League Baseball, and then some other guys completely blacklisted. A-Rod being one of those cases.
Yeah, that's it's a good point.
You think the Major League Baseball would ever let Roger Clemens own a baseball team?
No.
Or Barry Bonds. I can tell you, no, absolutely not.
No.
Right? I mean, they were coaches. Bonds was with the Marlins. McGuire was with the Dodgers and the Padres for a little bit. So they let him in baseball, but own a team? Can't imagine that.
Probably not. Can't believe you don't like Jesse Orozco, man.
He's a Met. I'm a Braves fan.
He was a Met for part of his career. Wait, you said you're a Braves fan, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to be too, allegedly.
That's one of like two teams he didn't play for. He played for like just about everybody else.
If he had played for the Braves,
You played from the 70s into the 2000s. You played for just
what
about
was the soft
everybody.
tossing lefty for the Mets that everybody loved him, but I couldn't stand him? Franco.
John Franco?
John Franco, yeah.
I never thought of him as a soft tosser, but
at the end of his career, he played till he was like 107.
Well, John Franco?
Did he?
I don't know. I remember him as being a hard.
I know Julio Franco did. He was like 49.
You see Julio Franco swing a bat the other day? He was working with a team. Julio's in his 60s now. I mean, he went up to the plate in street clothes just to demonstrate. The guy's got a beautiful swing. He could hit 175.
And his bat was basically like
in his 60s.
It looked like it was a tree trunk.
Yeah,
gigantic.
I mean, it was just this beautiful swing. If you didn't know, you'd think the guy was 35 years old.
John Franco played till he was 45 years old.
Okay, John. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember him. I remember him when he came over in the Randy Myers trade, and I remembered him as being a hard thrower. But maybe I remember him from early in his career. He didn't pitch longer than Orozco. Take a break. Tyrann Mathieu when we return here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richards Honda, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Tonight on Game Time, we're live from Just Winging It on Hoosha 2. Josh Booty and John Delamorte will join the show as we get you ready for the weekend. Join us tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And you can catch us on our YouTube channel, 104.5 ESPN. Joining us on CST, thank you. It is a COVID-free Friday, COVID news-free Friday here as we hope that you're enjoying today's show.
All right, we are glad to welcome back to the show All-Pro Safety, former All-American, anything that can be done by a safety. Our next guest has done it. Tyrann Mathieu hops back on with us. The Badger, what's up, my man?
Fellas, how you guys doing? Doing well.
Doing great, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Hey, we were talking during the break. We know LSU got their championship rings. We saw the 3 rings and all the videos, but I want to know, have you gotten the real bling yet? Because as we know, those Super Bowl champion rings, they got a couple more diamonds than the college rings.
Yeah, man. No, I haven't got it yet. Got fitted for it and everything, so that was a cool little process. But I'm sure we'll get it once we get back together. I'm sure they're gonna, put on a nice dinner for us, a nice event, and so I'm sure it's gonna be a cool moment. But I'm looking forward to that, actually getting it.
Tyrann, all the news coming out of Kansas City, obviously Patrick Mahomes gets a long-term deal, and that offense just continues to pick up weapons. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you're going to have another former LSU guy there with you. I think he's going to do magical things within that offense. Practicing against that offense every single day last year, I've got to imagine defensively that was something that continued to help y'all improve throughout the season.
Well, I thought it built, a great standard for us, especially throughout the spring and even going into training camp, just competing against those guys each and every day. Obviously when you practice against a group that's really talented, it can do one or two things to your confidence. It either can build it or it can kind of, damper it. And for us, I thought as the season went along, we really started to lean on the days, we practiced against our team and our offense. And, those days we had to strain and over-communicate and for guys to be in the right spot at the right time to make plays and, us just believing in that. So I thought our offense, set a great standard, for us defensively, just competing against those guys each and every day. I mean, it was a handful.
Have you already given your other defensive mates the scouting report on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Like, hey, watch out for the spin move. He's got it in his repertoire.
Yeah. I've watched him a lot, especially, being a diehard, LSU guy. So, I'm excited about it, and then we just obviously picked up a really athletic linebacker from Mississippi State, Willie Gay. So I'm sure, him and Clyde have great history. And so it's going to be fun seeing those guys, compete in one-on-ones. But if I have to cover Clyde one-on-ones, I kind of know where he's going. I've watched him for years.
Tyrann, how has your off-season training regimen changed given all the societal restrictions? How have you been able to adjust as you get ready for camp?
Well, I just think it's really just been different. You're used to just being around the guys, and having that time with them and, building that camaraderie, that chemistry. And, it just felt different. I feel like football is obviously a big part of football is, what you do with your teammates in the spring and the summer. And I feel like we didn't have that. And I know we have a great team and, we're coming off the Super Bowl. But I think that practice is important. So hopefully, we're able to get together really soon and, really start to put the reps together because it's going to be a different team this year. It's going to be different goals. And, we're going to have to adjust and adapt. But I think the best part about it is, we're bringing back the majority of our team. So a lot of guys here already have that chemistry, but you never take for granted the amount of practice you can put in. It says a lot about your performance during the season. So we've missed that part.
Tyrann, you're exactly right. You've got a majority of your team coming back. You are still a young, hungry football team as well. And we've been talking about, obviously, LSU kind of cutting last year go, moving forward in this next football season, and you don't really talk about being the champions from a year ago. Is that kind of the same mindset that you have in Kansas City? Like, everything was great. We'll celebrate when we get our rings and all those things, but we've got to focus on this next season?
Yeah. I think that's the mindset. And, naturally, people are going to put those projections on you, obviously with Patrick Mahomes, signing that big deal and, us being able to pay Chris Jones and, now we have this roster of superstars. I think a lot of people's expectations is for us to make the Super Bowl. I think, it's my job and other leaders' job to just take it day by day, right? Just enjoy the process, get guys to love the process, whether it's going good or bad, and just watch everybody put their hand in the pile, and we know it's going to be a clean slate, obviously this season, I think the target is much bigger for our team, for Patrick Mahomes, for myself individually, coming off a great season. So we're going to get everybody's best shot. We got a pretty tough schedule. We got Brady, we got Breeze, all these guys late in the season. And then we start the season with probably the best dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL, with Watson and Tyrod Taylor, Lamar Jackson. So, we're going to have to obviously start the season fast to be able to consistently, maintain, our performance and level of play.
Tyrann, you brought up Chris Jones signing that contract earlier this week. What does his presence in that defensive interior allow your defense to free up and do?
Well, for one, it allows me to do my job, at the level and the speed I like to do it. I like to move around, I like to disguise. And I think anytime you have a guy like Chris Jones who can really push the center of the pocket and get quarterbacks to make fast decisions, not necessarily smart decisions, I think that kind of plays into, my hand as a defensive back, and even our coaches, Spags, what he likes to do on the back end. Disguise different coverages, play 2-over-1 reads, and allow his playmakers to make plays. So I think anytime you have a guy like Chris Jones who can, be that extra factor, for the pass defense, I think that's where the league is trending. They're trying to throw the ball, they're trying to score points, and guys like Chris Jones are very valuable.
Tyrann, I'm very curious. We were talking about this earlier. When you look at the elite safeties in the NFL, and of course you're in that category, Jamal Adams, another former Tigers in that category, the thing that I think y'all do extremely well is you can play on all three levels. You can be on the line of scrimmage rushing the quarterback. You can stack almost like a linebacker and stop the run. Of course, you can line up deep and play safety. But when you play that style of football, you have to know that your teammates kind of know exactly what you're doing, and they can also help cover up for you as well. Is that something that y'all talk about, like, hey, I'm going to get a little creative here on this play. Just make sure you're backing me up a little bit.
Yeah, all the time, and I think that's why practice is so important. You build that chemistry, you build that trust. You take chances in practice that you don't necessarily take in the game. So, for me, I think that's a big part of, who I am. I've always played with great, talented guys, Patrick Peterson and Brandon Taylor of the world, and Eric Reeves, and different guys that play at a different speed. And we all play at different levels, and it's always good to know, where your teammates are. So I think in order to be a good defensive back, you not only have to play well, but you have to obviously lift the players around you and communicate with those guys, really well.
Hey, real quick, speaking of Brandon Taylor, and of course, that's my guy, we're number 18. Have you ever seen him in a shirt that wasn't a small or medium?
No. And look, I guess, man, Brandon's always been one of those guys who's always took fitness really serious. Even as a player, right? He's always was in the weight room. He always took that serious. So I guess, show it off, right?
Yeah, he wants to show his work off, right? Like an artist.
Yeah,
I got you.
So show it off, man.
Tyrann Mathieu is our guest. Tyrann, we've heard all the stories about, we've seen it on the field, obviously. We've heard all the stories about some of the unbelievable athletic things that Patrick Mahomes can do, and we've even seen him film some of these things off the practice field. But give us one that you've seen that wouldn't have made it to television or onto YouTube or anything like that. What's the most amazing thing you've seen that guy do in a practice?
I mean, for one, I don't think he understands how good he is. He's so shy about it. He's so humble about it. And he doesn't seem to be necessarily concerned with how wild the play was, and that's always cool to see from an athlete. Most athletes at that, level, they, obviously they have an ego, and he doesn't necessarily show that. And so I think that's why he's such a great team leader. He's such a good guy, and that's why he got the amount of money, he got. But I saw him do a lot of different things in practice, man. I'd probably say out of one out of every 3 plays is a legit 70-yard bomb. And so I always tell my DBs to back up a little bit, especially when we're in training camp, we're in practice, because, they like to show off the arm. And Tyreek Hill likes to run. So, and, they can cover the whole 100 yards, So I just see that guy do so many great things, in practice that, I'm not even really surprised anymore.
Tyrann, you're part of 2 exclusive clubs at LSU, DBU being one, the number 7 jersey being the other. I want to start with DBU. Obviously, we know year in, year out, you're going to have extremely talented defensive backs. Grant Delpit was the latest last year, gets drafted by the Browns. But I want to talk about a guy, Jacoby Stevens, that's going to be on this year's team. This is a guy that had to find his position at LSU, but once he did, he's a guy that's in that same mold of safeties that can play on all 3 levels. He's a 225-pound safety, so a little bit different body type than other safeties out there. What did you see from Jacoby last year that leads you to believe maybe he can be that next step guy, that next part of DBU that gets in the conversation of maybe a first, second-round pick.
Yeah, I actually like the kid. When I watch games, not everybody pops off the screen,
Yeah.
And I think he has that effect. Obviously, what you just mentioned, him having the ability to play on all three levels, I think that's going to add great value for him going forward. But even a couple players that I've seen him make in space, I think he'll be a big part of, NFL schemes as far as the passing packages and third down packages and being able to, have a guy that you can move around and play at linebacker and play off the ball weak side and, play in the post and play the hook curl. And I think he kind of offers that. And, I'm not surprised. Coach Raymond has done a really good job of, continuing to kind of keep those guys coming in and out. And, I think LSU is really a recycling door as far as, a revolving door as far as defensive backs, right? One come, one leave. And, he's done a good job of consistently picking some guys that, like I said, pop off the screen. And I think that says a lot about, the recruiting program that those guys have, but also about some of these athletes, coming into a big program, obviously following after guys like myself and Jamal Adams, but kind of making a name for themselves. I think the last safety that I remember that Wu number 3 that kind of popped off the screen like that was Tad Jones.
Yep.
So, that's not bad company to be in.
No, it's not at all. Continuing with jersey number talk, man, I mentioned number 7. I know you've got to be excited about next year's number 7, Jamar Chase. We were kind of joking. We were watching the draft. We were doing a draft show, Tyrann, and it looked like it was Jamar Chase's highlight tape because all the corners that were taken in the first and second round were getting left in the dust by Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I mean, he's a special talent, man. It's always a joy to kind of watch, these guys evolve, man. I can remember hearing rumbles about him, in high school, right? And, him being compared to certain players that came from, the New Orleans area. And to kind of see these kids develop, man, into their own superstar, their own brand, I think he's doing a great job, man. He brings a different attitude, right, that I don't think I've seen since Jarvis Landry. I mean, he plays mean, you know what I mean? And I think it does something for the offense. It gives them a certain swagger, a certain edge. And then on top of that, he's legitimately Odell Beckham-like, in the sense that he's really going to put people in the stands. He's going to make people tune into, what he's doing. And I think, the sky's the limit for him, man. The future is so bright. And I probably say, it's probably nobody better to probably, wear number 7, than him this year.
Tyrann, we appreciate your time today. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for all your success, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Anytime.
Appreciate it, Tyrann.
Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, with us here on Hanging with Hester and Hanny. I don't hear any name more often when people say, who's your favorite LSU Tiger of all time. I don't hear any name more than Tyrann Mathieu for what he did. The unique abilities he had on a football field is just something you didn't see.
And just the grit and tenacity that he played with. And I can tell you, as far as me, I'm a former player. Like, my favorite LSU players are Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they're Tyrann Mathieu, they're Jarvis Landry because of the way they played. He just mentioned Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry played pissed off. That's the way that Tyrann played as well, right? And you might not think that, but that's the way Clyde played as well. He played with that chip on his shoulder, right? What he did at LSU was so magical and special. Like, you were just waiting for the game-changing play. Like, if you have one of those plays in a year, it was special. He would have like 10 of those plays that changed the game when he was at LSU. That was a hell of a run they had there in 2011, and now he continues to do it in the NFL.
Take a break, come back in hour number 3. Andrew Lopez, who broke the Zion Williamson story for leaving the bubble. And Phillip Rivers, longtime Chargers quarterback, now with the Colts, is with us in hour number 3. Hanging with Hester, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, as you know, we have teamed up with Baton Rouge Foundation Repair here on this show. I love being teamed up with Baton Rouge Foundation Repair. Been in the greater Baton Rouge area for over 22 years. Their owner, Michael Lamonic, is a lifelong resident of Baton Rouge, and I tell you all the time, from the first meeting that I sat down with Michael, he said, I care about the Baton Rouge community, and I do not want to try to trick them because I am not going to ask them to pay twice for their foundation repair because of poor drainage or whatever situation, right? That's why you're going to get the warranties on your slab foundations and your pier and beam foundations with Baton Rouge Foundation Repair. Don't be asked to pay twice for your foundation repair work. Get Baton Rouge Foundation Repair's water, shield, pilings, and estimates. They are always free. Go to the website right now. You can go to brfoundation.com for all the information. It gives you exactly what the warranties look like on the website. Of course, you can always call them at 225-275-0101. That's 225-275-0101 or at brfoundation.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Coming up on Mondays Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. What's the latest on college football and its status, as well as Zion's departure from the bubble. Plus, we hand out our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Brought to you by Richard's Honda, home with a warm, fuzzy feeling. You know, it's too bad on days like today that we run out of time, because we even ran long in this segment because Tyrann had a story or two that he wanted to tell about one of our guests in the next hour. He's got some Phillip Rivers stories.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance, and I've seen it on TV before. They were playing Phillip's trash talk, and we all know Phillip doesn't cuss, and so it's very unique trash talk. And I meant to ask Tyrann what the funniest Phillip Rivers trash talk was. We didn't get a chance to get to it, but don't worry. I asked him. I was like, hey, next time we got to have it on. He goes, man, I got plenty of stories. And so he'll be back on. He was good enough to join us. Last time he was on, we went 30 minutes with him, and I felt bad because Madison was over there looking at me like, we have got to break. And I'm like, you can't stop the Badger once he gets going. So.
No, so we had a little bit of time constraint on that one, but
we did.
Well, we can have him back. See, that's a perfect thing. Plus, we just blame it on Cade now. See, Madison would have to go down and have to ask Cade for forgiveness. Now we just got Cade in here.
So it's just his fault.
We'll just tell him, hey, look, man, it's what we.
No, we're gonna be mid sentence in a break, and he's just gonna play the stab and be like, "I told y'all." Just have his hands up.
I've been a lot better clock watcher on this show than I used to be.
I can confirm that.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Exactly. See, that's what Cade can do. See, I used to be in that chair that you're in when you would be on Sports Today, and let's just say we never really started at the same exact time sometimes.
Yeah.
There'd be some breaks that it'd be like 51, be like, they hadn't taken their third break yet. I'm like, wait a minute. How's that work?
I'm blaming everything on Jimmy.
Well, in your
especially since he's not in town to defend himself.
In your defense, you didn't have to really worry about it, and so now CST and being up in Shreveport, like we have to kind of stay on a certain clock.
Be a little bit better.
You're doing good.
See, you hear the music? That means
get your butt out.
Andrew Lopez and Phillip Rivers in hour number 3. It is our COVID news-free Friday. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Here at Corval Toyota.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hannegriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hannegriff.
Hour number 3. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger, CST, and our YouTube station, 104.5, YouTube channel, 104.5 ESPN. It is a Friday and what we called a COVID-free news Friday.
TGIF,
yeah.
COVID-free. The energy in this room all day has been great. I mean, across the board, it's been great. Here with Island Hanny, it's been great. I didn't even have to do like air squats or push-ups to fake it.
You know how I know? Paul O'Neill said 7 words today. I counted them. I mean, it's 7. This
Can't
is
get him to shut up.
This is record for the 2 weeks that this show has been on. 7 has more than doubled his usual daily output.
If you want to get Paul O'Neill talking, which I know that, Moscona's tried and you've tried, you've got to hit him in his wheelhouse. You start talking Atlanta Braves,
okay,
my man's going to rev it up. Or Southeastern. You start talking Southeastern, he's a proud alum. Start talking.
Understand they may be getting a defensive tackle from Tuscaloosa soon.
See, there you go, Paul. Excited about that?
Believe me, that story turns out to be true and becomes public. It will be a topic on this show. But
didn't they have a quarterback from Oregon not that long ago?
We did.
I'm saying.
Oh, see? Look at
there
him.
You go. There you go.
I told you. If you want your Nichols coverage, we've got Case, Southeastern, we've got Paul O'Neill. Southland Conference, we got you covered. I'll take Northwestern, you take McNeese.
Okay. That's
Fair
no
enough.
problem.
All right.
I got good friends of mine that went to McNeese.
Well,
Some
Northwestern. I know you don't hear it anymore on this show, but 318-313 great.
All right, very good. So if you're watching along with us and you're wondering why it's Casual Friday, because we wanted a specific mood for this show, and we wanted something positive. And yes, I am taking one of my once every year or two fishing trips this weekend. Thanks to the folks at Sazerac. They're sponsoring
your trip. That's right.
For those that are asking,
they can just sponsor my weekend. I'm not going on a trip, but they can just sponsor my weekend.
If you didn't have baseball this weekend, you could come. Everybody that's going on this trip likes you.
Oh, we're good.
Trust
I fooled
me.
them.
It's about it's about a group of I think 10 is what we're going to end up fishing with this weekend. For those that are asking where we're going, Southwest Louisiana, south of Lake Charles. So,
all right,
I'm like I said, just the kind of the novice, not novice, but not avid fisherman. There's some guys that go every weekend on this trip.
Here's what we need to do before football season kicks off. We will do a trip up to Cross Lake, up into 318. I'll set it all up, and since now we're on 11:30 AM The Tiger, now you're part of the show, right? Sure. We're together. We'll get Dick Dixon. We'll get all of the other hooligans that are on our show. We'll have a Hanging with Hester and Hanny retreat up on Cross Lake in North Louisiana. I'll take care of everything.
I'm going to hold you to that.
No, it's done.
All we got to do is set a time.
That's it.
We'll find a time we're not doing anything.
Yeah, who wants to host a show like on a Friday so we can get the trip started like on a Thursday?
Hunt Palmer.
That's right.
Hunt Palmer.
Jumbo. Hope you're listening.
Absolutely.
Because Hunt, I know you don't want to go fishing, so that's why you're not coming.
All right, so we promised a no COVID news Friday, but there is a couple of things. These are positive stories, so we're going to share them here real quick. I'm going to let you start because there's a real quick before we go to Andrew Lopez about the Pels. A good soccer piece, and it's a good piece out of the Southeastern Conference here, so we are going to share this.
Yeah, so listen, we're not having any doomsday scenario, only positive energy here on the show, and we said no COVID, but this is positive, and then we will move on. There was over 1,100 COVID-19 tests done by the MLS inside the bubble in the last 2 days. with 0 positives. That's important because this is the first professional American team sport that we've seen. We've seen golf, we've seen NASCAR, other ones, but this is the first team sport. And so over 1,100 tests, they're inside their bubble there in Orlando, 0 positive tests. That is major moving forward because they initially had some problems, but now over 1,100 tests in the last 2 days, 0 positives.
And this is also, I think, a positive thing. The SEC presidents and chancellors voted unanimously to honor the scholarships of players that will not be able to participate this fall because of health or safety concerns. They remain in good standing with their teams. They remain in good standing with the conference and their scholarships. We had people ask about that.
Yeah, that's been a big question.
And we thought that would be how it turned out. But we get official word today from the SEC. So we'll give you that. And so that'll be the only way we even venture in that area.
And I'm not even trying to be funny here. Because of all the news that we've had since March the 12th, and it's been so many peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows, whatever you want to use, right? It has felt good today to come in here to have, COVID-free. And look, it's still going on. We understand that. But right now,
we wanted to give you a 3-hour break.
Our purpose was to give you a break today, talk X's and O's. We had Coach Ensminger on. We had the Honey Badger on. Andrew Lopez is going to hop on, talk Pelicans. And then, look, we're going to have Phillip Rivers on. We're going to talk all football. We're going to talk X's and O's. We're going to have a little bit of fun today because I can tell you my mood in here 2 hours and 5 minutes into the show is a little bit better than it's been the rest of the week.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah. I hope the listener does too.
The reaction has been good out of the Bayou Ford Huddle and also on Facebook. On YouTube. So if you're enjoying this, we came up with this idea earlier in the week. It's been hard to avoid some of that news. We did it today, and with that, we're going to talk about the Pels because now we know a little bit more about the Zion story and leaving the bubble, and it's a serious situation with his family, obviously, to cause him to go. But we are on a countdown now. We're now 13 days away from the Pels reopening, and Zion being able to test negative while he's gone and being able to do that every single day is the difference between a 4-day and a 10-day quarantine when he gets back. So it very much impacts what happens to the Pels to start this thing as to how and when Zion returns, because the quarantine's down there. I was watching SportsCenter last night. Even the media that goes down there has to quarantine for 7 days. And you think about being put in. Are you claustrophobic at all?
I don't like MRIs. I'll tell you that.
Oh no, the MRIs are
not my favorite thing.
Okay, but not okay. And
that's
a lot of people.
So to answer your question, yes, a little bit.
So a hotel room, by definition, is fairly comfortable. People go on vacations in hotel rooms, and these are nice hotel rooms. These are not rundown hotel rooms. But there's something about being put in a hotel room and when they close that door saying, you can't open this door for 7 days, that makes you feel a little bit claustrophobic. It's not prison, okay? I'm not trying to be overly dramatic here. There's room service, and there's TV and a comfortable bed and a hot shower, but it's that, hey, we're closing this door. Don't open it for 7 days. It makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that's what even the non-participants, the non-players, have had to go through down there. So
it's a different situation, no doubts about it. And I'm half serious here. If you told my wife, hey, for 7 days you could stay in a hotel room,
no, stay in a hotel and be locked in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Look, you've been, I'm sure, to hotels where the property, the resort. I mean, you got a pool, you got a restaurant, you got a bar, you got all these things. No, close the door, and that's it. It's just it's uncomfortable. Like I said, it's not draconian or anything. It's just not what you would choose to do if you had that opportunity. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Andrew Lopez will be with us. We'll talk what the Pels are planning to do in the event that Zion doesn't come back. That's next. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Richards Honda is constantly looking for smart ways to make things easier for you. So we created our buy from home option. It's the easiest, most convenient way to shop for a car, all from the comforts and safety of your own home. Just log on to richardshonda.com, click on the buy from home button, and with a few simple steps, your new or pre-owned car will be ready for pickup or delivered right to your door. It's fast, easy, and smart. Try it today at richardshonda.com.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Janny King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Janny King, the king of clean.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro part.
Tonight on Game Time, we're live from Just Winging It on Hoosha 2. Josh Booty and John Delamorte will join the show as we get you ready for the weekend. Join us tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Today's show also brought to you in part by Supreme Rice, a perfect complement for every meal because all rice is not created equal. You know, I got some of the jasmine rice to bring down to camp this weekend because you want to make a big pot of something, a big pot of red beans, a big pot of etouffee, or when it gets colder, a big pot of gumbo. You bring some Supreme Rice down to the camp. And I know those guys; they're big Supreme Rice. I'm not just bringing the Sazerac. I mean, you know, I'm bringing the rice, and you know why? Because I'm not the best cook, but we got some good cooks coming down there. Supreme Rice, a perfect complement for any meal. Support Louisiana farmers. All Supreme Rice is grown, milled, and processed right here in South Louisiana, and it's easy to get. You can go to any of your Costco's, any of your Rouses. That's where I got mine today. Any of your Walmarts, any of your AG food dealers. So make your next meal a great one and add Supreme Rice. And for great recipes and more information, go to supremerice.com. Joining us right now is Andrew Lopez covering the New Orleans Pelicans. Andrew, good afternoon.
Good, man. How are you doing?
We're doing good. You were out in front on this story on Zion Williamson. So before we talk about the basketball aspects of this, I'm wondering about the kind of emotional aspects of this. A lot of the Pelicans talked about it yesterday. Alvin Gentry was out in front of this thing, and they have to deal with the possibility that Zion's certainly not going to be there right now and may not be there at the start of the rejoin.
Yeah, so Zion obviously leaves the bubble yesterday to deal with an emergency family medical matter. That's really all we know right now. Team not commenting, kind of respecting the privacy of the family. But the biggest thing, Zion is really a family guy. Like he is family first. You go back to the draft, you remember him crying after he got it, talking about the sacrifices his mom made for him. Throughout this process, he's been with Lee Anderson in quarantine, his stepfather. So family is a really, really big thing to him. And so this is something that he's having to deal with. And on the basketball side, the team is standing with him. JJ and Drew, they're like, look, he's our brother, but we're going to stand with him, and we're going to have it. We're going to have this thing ready for when he gets back. They plan on him being back, but obviously he does have, some pressing issues he has to take care of first.
And Andrew, would you remind our listeners exactly what that protocol would look like? How many days he's away, how many times he'd have to get tested per day when he comes back, all those things?
Yeah, so all of that depends on when and how often he's getting tested while he is away. If he is away and getting tested daily, which he would have to go do on his own, the NBA, the team would all try to work that out to where he was getting daily tests. When he gets back into the bubble, he would have, I think, a minimum of 4 days that he would have to stay in quarantine. So if he were to play in that first game on July 30th, when the Pels open up against the Utah Jazz, he would be there for, he'd have to be back by the 26th. If he is not getting tested every day, he's looking at a maximum of 14 days in quarantine before he could play. So obviously, we have no indication either way. If he would do that, you would think that he is going to, be getting tested, but we don't have anything one way or the other on that. And the only thing the team is kind of worried about is the health and safety of his family right now.
Andrew, we know the Pels know what it's like to play without Zion. They didn't have him for the first 44 games of the season, but I dare say this is a different looking group than it was back when they were playing those early season games. So what might a lineup, a rotation look like in the event that Zion doesn't make it back?
So they really have two options here, and one is to go back to playing Brandon Ingram at the 4, which is what they were doing early on, and you had a guard lineup of Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, and J.J. Redick, B.I. at the 5, and then you go to obviously Derek Favors at the B.I. at the 4, Derek Favors at the 5. The other option you can do, if you like the matchups that Brandon's been getting at the 3, you could put Nico Melli in at the 4, play him there. Even possible maybe Kenrich Williams gets back in the mix now that he's healthy. So you can do a couple of different things, but what they did before was go to BI at the 4. Now, you point out they learned how to play with him. Obviously, they didn't start very well, going 7-23, but once they got Derek Favors back, they were 11-5 in the 16 games right before Zion debuted, and they even won one without him. When he was injured, I think in Indiana, when that game happened, they started Josh Hart because Brandon Ingram was also out, and then started Nico Melli. So they can go a number of different ways with it. The top two options, though, BI at the 4 or Melli coming into the starting lineup.
How deep are your defensive liabilities if Melli has to start?
Melly's foot speed is not where you want it to be, but having Derek Favors out there helps. And Derek Favors is kind of I guess I call him the X factor right now for this Pelicans team. When you look at when they started to turn things around, everything kind of coincides with when Favors came back into the lineup. There was a strategic change for them when they took out they dropped the bigs on the pick and rolls, allowing them to cover a little bit more ground once the guards got by, and that changed a lot of what they did. They stopped giving up as many open threes because of that, and because of that, I think you feel okay. Melly's not he's not just going to be like a turnstile. He's not just going to be giving up points. He can hold his own, but obviously you lose a bit of foot speed, you lose a bit of athleticism there. But one thing that Melly does have that I give him credit for right now is his basketball IQ. He might be one of the smartest guys on the team, so he will be in the right positions, when he's out there on the floor.
Catching up with Andrew Lopez, ESPN, here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny. Andrew, I'm curious which bench piece for the Pelicans you think will be the most valuable, because when you look at it, J.J. Redick, and we know, he's made the postseason every year he's been in the NBA. Josh Hart has a role on this team. Can you see those two guys maybe being the main guys off the bench? E'Twaun Moore, does he have a role on this team down in Orlando?
Yeah, what's interesting is how Alvin Gentry shrinks his lineups. When you get to the playoffs, you start to shrink your lineups. You start to try to tighten things up. And if I'm looking at a most valuable player off the bench, I'm going to look at Josh Hart. Josh is a guy that Alvin Gentry referred to a couple of weeks ago as a utility infielder, basically a guy who he can just go out there and do a lot of different things. If you need him to play the one in a pinch, he can. He's comfortable at the 2. He's comfortable at the 3. If you need him at the 4 in a pinch, he can play the 4. So he's a guy who can probably defend 3 positions, play 4. He really brings he's one of the, I think he's tops, in the league in rebounding percentage for guys 6'5" and under. So he really kind of is that dog who can kind of go out there, bring that kind of but bulldog mentality and really just play and guard, just be the junkyard dog kind of guy who can just do all the dirty things that you need to get done, get the boards, get out, hit the 3, and do things like that.
Andrew Lopez is our guest. New Orleans Pelicans 2 weeks from yesterday with the restart against Utah. You mentioned Alvin Gentry shrinking his lineup or his rotation a little bit, and we're wondering, as we get into this restart, the teams that already have playoff spots locked up, what they might be doing as far as their rotations. So just in people that you've talked to, what you're expecting about the type of minutes we'll see starters play for teams that are locked into the playoffs, and since there's no home court, there's really no great advantage to jockeying for position.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I think you're going to see is how do teams really treat these seeding games. Some teams are going to treat them and play their starters normal minutes. Some guys are going to treat them as if they're preseason games, then it doesn't matter. You look at a team like the Lakers, who are 6.5, 7 games up. All they got to do is win 2, really, and then they're set at number 1. It doesn't matter what happens after that. Same thing with the Bucks in the East. So how that remains to be seen. I think a lot of coaches are still juggling that, because you do want these guys ready when playoff time comes. You don't want to have to just be able to turn that switch on then. I think what you'll see when the seeding game, when the scrimmage games come around, the 3 basic preseason games, you'll see a lot of messing around with lineups and guys getting rested there. And I think you start to turn it up when the seeding games get there. But you mentioned the no home court advantage thing. That's a big thing, because to me, what I think you'll see there is you're going to be hunting matchups at that point. If you're in the 4 or 5 spot in the West, that means the Lakers in the second round. Maybe you try to get to 3. Maybe you try to get to 6. Maybe however you want to play it. But you're going to be hunting matchups rather than, I think, seeding, which will make things a little bit different.
Andrew, I want to ask you about Lonzo Ball moving forward, and we've been talking about him really all week long. He seemed like right when everything shut down, he was playing his best basketball of his professional career. What are the Pelicans expecting from him now? Because him and Zion had such a good chemistry. It was hard to ignore last year. I know they're hoping that chemistry stays the same, but his three-point shooting was really out of this world compared to what we thought we'd get from Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, he was turning the corner, though, before Zion came back, and I think that's why you have a little bit of you're excited of what you can get out of him. You go back to Christmas when he was really starting to feel healthy again. I remember there was a tip dunk he caught. I think it was the 23rd of December when they were playing against Portland. He caught a tip dunk against the Trailblazers, and that was like the moment he said he felt like, all right, like I'm back. Like this is right. And from that on, he was averaging 13, 8, and 7, shooting 41 or 42% from three. The three-point jump is a big one for him. He's shooting 38.3% on the season. Statistically, that's a higher percentage than guys like James Harden, Trae Young, Devin Booker. So he's above league average in there, and obviously it's been going up in the recent games. In the last 5 games, ahead of when the season was canceled, Alvin Gentry said he was playing as well as anybody in the NBA. He was averaging 21, 22 points, just a little below 8 assists and 8 rebounds a game, shooting 51% from three. In those 5 games, twice he hit 7 3-pointers in a game. So it's not like he was just going, 1 for 2, 2 for 3 every night. So he's a guy who I think can really turn things around and continue his ascent, even if Zion's not on the floor.
Andrew, last question. What record would you predict that the Pelicans would need to get into at least the mini play-in series with, we will assume for the moment, that'll be Memphis?
I still think they need to go 6-2, and here's why. Portland, you had the tiebreaker over Portland if this was the regular season. You swept Portland this year, but because Portland played 2 more games than you, they are a thousandth of a point better than you in the standings. That means they get the advantage. All they have to do is have a better record than you. So let's say they go 5-3, you have to be 6-2. So I think being 6-2 is a way to guarantee yourself at least being in the play-in game.
Andrew Lopez, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll be checking in back with you as we get closer to the restart.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back here, Phillip Rivers, former teammate of Jacob Hester, and now with the Indianapolis. Hey, did you see Freddie Freeman's back?
Positive news,
yeah,
Freddie Freeman.
Man, look,
let's go, Paul.
We're rolling on this Friday, on this no COVID news Friday. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, before we leave today, we've got to continue to remind you about Hungry Howie's and that 51% off deal they are running right now. Go to hungryhowies.com, promo code 51OFF at checkout to get 51% off of your order and free flavored crust. If that 51% deal is not enough for you, well, it should be. It's a gigantic deal. They're also offering 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $15 plus that free flavored crust. There's literally no better pizza deal. It's all about the variety at Hungry Howie's. Still get the deal whether you get your pizza delivered or you pick up. Doesn't matter. Again, hungryhowies.com. You can always check out the deals in the top right corner of the website, but we are telling you about 2 gigantic deals, that 51% off deal and also that 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $15. Hungry Howie's is always bringing value to your life. Check them out, hungryhowies.com, the Hungry Howie's app, and always give them a call at 761-HOWIE.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Coming up on Monday's Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. What's the latest on college football and its status, as well as Zion's departure from the bubble. Plus, we hand out our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Today's show also brought to you in part by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, with 4 locations helping you deal with pain. Pain from auto accidents, pain from sports injuries. Sometimes you just get a little bit older, things start to hurt. Happened to me. You know, you got a disc or a muscle, a ligament strain, your neck or your back hurts. They can ease your suffering. They'll help you out. They've done it for me. They've done it for members of my family. They'll give you a series of exercises and stretches that'll kind of get you a little bit loose, and maybe that'll do the trick, or maybe you'll need some dry needling or electric nerve stimulation, ultrasound, or cryotherapy. Now at 4 locations, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, 13406 Airline Highway, 2832 Plank Road, 467 Oak Plaza Boulevard in Brewley, and 9026 Jefferson Highway, that's near Drusilla. Easy access from both I-10 and I-12. Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. Let me give you a quick update on the golf, if I can. Would be my crash right there. Ryan Palmer, Tony Finau, both at 9 under par. John Rahm at 8 under as they head into the afternoon rounds. Again, if you're wondering about Tiger, he had a tough day and is 1 shot off. Well, what is the projected cut at +2? He finished 76 today, so he's +3. Got to have a little bit of help to get himself back into it. Among the guys still on the golf course, Patrick Cantlay, who was a popular choice among the bettors, is making a little bit of a move. He's 3 under on the day, and he is now 3 shots off the lead, and he is about to make the turn. So That's what's going on up at the Memorial in Dublin, Ohio.
All right, I am glad to welcome to the show. You've heard me say this many, many times. My favorite teammate of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Indianapolis Colts quarterback Philip Rivers. PR17, what's up, Bo?
Gosh, it's still a little bit weird to hear that Indianapolis Colts quarterback, but I'm getting used to it. What's going on?
Oh man, when I was cutting the promo yesterday, Phil, I was like, I had to like replay it. I'm like, wait a minute, Indianapolis Colts. I had to say it over again because hey, you spent a long time obviously there with the Chargers, but now in a new spot. How's everything going so far?
It's going good. I tell you, it's just been a little bit crazy. I've still yet to walk into the building. So here it is, July 16th, and haven't walked in the building yet. But it's been good. You know, all the Zoom meetings and everything. You know, meeting a bunch of new teammates and similar system, pretty much the same system from the Chargers. Obviously, you change terminology somewhat, but you know, being with Frank and Nick again, that's been comforting. So. It's been a good off season. Hopefully get things rolling here soon.
I've got to imagine being there with Frank Reich there with the Chargers and having one of the biggest years of your career. I've got to imagine that was comfortable walking into that situation, knowing that y'all played well off each other, and he knows your strengths, you know his strengths, and you can kind of move forward with that, even though everything else is kind of new.
Huge. It was, you know. We had a good handful of years. You mentioned the success on the field. He and I really grew close, you know, both on and off the field. But as far as, you know, just in the meeting rooms, just in conversation, we communicated well together anyway. And, you know, so that was definitely big. I just really believe in him as both a man and a coach. And then obviously, you know, Nick Sirianni was there even longer with the Chargers. And we had a great rapport as well. I was in the quarterback room for a little bit with a wide receiver. Those two factors were definitely a big positive.
Now, Philip, one of the things I always tell our listeners is when we got someone new in our locker room, you were always the first guy to meet them. You learned, hey, where'd you go to college? And, of course, we'd always, you know, throw jabs at wherever they went to college. We'd have fun, but you were a guy that you wanted to make sure that you learned all of your new teammates. You made it a purpose to learn about them, their family, whatever it might have been when they came into the locker room. And so I've got to imagine this process, you've been trying to learn about your new teammates, learn about, you know, where they're from, who they are, what they've done. Even though you kind of know them from afar, I just know you, and I know it's been something you've been trying to do.
Yeah, no, it is. I've always thought that was important. And, you know, being one of the guys is one of my favorite parts of this whole game is being a teammate. So, I got some work to do with that with this group, just because, like you said, it's been unique to say the least. You know, we have gotten together and thrown with some. You know, I've gotten together and thrown with some guys. We had a pretty good sized group that got together about a month ago and worked, but I haven't really met all the guys in person. There's only so much you can get done in a Zoom meeting, but so. Got some work to do in that regard, which we all know training camp. Shoot, that's when a lot of that bonding comes. You know, sitting up late night snacks and joking around and telling stories and all that. You know, cutting up in the locker room, sitting there after a long practice, all those things. So look forward to that with these guys and building that rapport and that camaraderie that you and I both know is not only is it a lot of fun, it's very important and you know, the team coming together and how things shake out as the season goes.
One of my favorite things, and I'm glad you mentioned that, was snack during training camp, Philip, because some of my best stories come from that time. We'd be sitting around a table, Nick Hardwick, who played for Purdue, Charlie Whitehurst, who's about as country as they come, you, me, obviously being from the South, Billy Volek being from the West Coast. We would sit there and we would say, well, how do you say that word up north? Well, how do you say that word down the South? And we would have so much fun just talking about where we were from, different ways that we, you know, grew up in the different cultures there.
There's no question. You know, it makes me laugh because when you start to say that, I immediately think the first thing I think about is it a basketball hoop or a basketball goal? And because that would be the one that would come up every single year. And I'll tell you this, whether it's a hoop or a goal, it's almost like you can't officially live in Indiana unless you have one in the driveway. I'm telling you right now, you've never seen as many basketball goals in the driveway is here. It is every house. It's awesome. I mean, of course, I love it. That's kind of how I grew up too in the South. But you and I, basketball hoops going to be in it. Basketball goes in the driveway. So that makes me laugh. And then you mentioned Hardwick, which is crazy. That all the time. Obviously we're awesome teammate of both of us, and out there in San Diego. And now he literally lives. He moved back here. I don't know if you know, and he's 6 miles. We live 6 miles apart. So all that time we spent together out there, and then here we are 6 miles apart in northern, north of Indianapolis, and it's crazy. So he and I have been getting together and working out in the mornings. It's been kind of cool to almost kind of recreate somewhat those early morning weightlifting sessions we would have. Here we are, 17 years from when we were rookies together.
All right. Well, can you keep up with Nick now? Because we had Nick on the show not that long ago, and let's just say my man is putting some work in.
No, I can't. My oldest daughter, Hallie, says, "Are you a little bit intimidated working out with Nick?" So, no, I can't keep up. He's a machine, and it's crazy. He's doing a little coaching up here as well, and some of the players tell him, "You didn't play center in the NFL." They just can't believe it. I mean, the guy's 6, whatever he is, 3 or 4, 230 pounds, and can run around and is flexible and do anything, strong. So it's he could have a hard time convincing me he played center if you just saw him walking down the street.
Oh, there's no question about it. So you did mention moving to Indiana up there. I don't think our listeners understand how big of a fan of the movie Hoosiers that you truly are. Like, that would be like your go-to sports movie, I would assume, as many times as I've heard you talk about that movie. So I've got to imagine, in the back of your mind when you're signing with the Colts, you're like, okay, I'm basically going to go to Hoosier Land right now.
Make it a good one, Strap. No, there's no question. The timing too of us visiting right now on your show is ironic because we're talking about watching Hoosiers tonight. Actually, we haven't watched it yet since we've been here. And I go, guys, it literally happened right down the road. I mean, Butler University's right here. The high school's not far from here. I go, we got to bring it back out and watch it. No better time than now. So, it is pretty cool being here, and making that trip over to the gym where they shot the movie, and it's cool. I mean, it's one of those classic sports movies, and we've had a poster in our quarterback room in San Diego now forever of Jimmy Chitwood with the phrase "I'll make it." It's kind of just been on the wall for the last I don't know how many years. So it's definitely going to be a little short road trip we're going to have to make over to check out where it all started. Welcome to Indiana basketball.
Catching up with Phillip Rivers here on Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It's funny, every question that I have for you, Phil, you keep bringing up great memories when you say something. You said Butler there. Now I'm thinking about the time that me, you, Billy Volek, and Charlie Whitehurst, almost the day of the national championship game, we were trying to get our way to Houston to go to the Butler-Duke national championship game, and we almost had it done. I think our wives were like, okay, yeah, y'all are crazy. Y'all are not going the day of the national championship game to go watch basketball. But we almost made it in what was one of the best basketball games in recent memory.
No question. I'm telling you, yeah, we not did. At least we actually thought we could pull it off. I don't know how realistic it was, but we actually thought we could pull it off. The other thing I think of is us going to watch a couple of the Indiana State football championship games. Here we are. We're going to play in the RCA Dome on Sunday and Saturday, or either that Friday night we flew in. I think it was Saturday. We walk over there, get us a seat, and watch a little Indiana high school football. So there's a long list of memories like that. Finding a good place for a steak in different towns that make it the best. I mean, I think that's why we could sit here. No doubt, we had a lot of good game memories and fun moments on the field, but it's all those other things that make it what it is. And which is another reason why I'm still thankful and want to do it as long as they'll keep me around.
It's funny you mentioned that. I remember, I think it was actually the first year of Lucas Oil that we went up there. We were playing the Colts on a Sunday night game ended up we played really well and we beat the Colts that night. But it was that Saturday. We were at St. Elmo's, of course, like everybody did when you go play against the Colts. And when you found out that there was high school state championship games being played across the street, we had to go, right? And so we went and we sat in the end zone. And I'll never forget, you're like, hey, see if any of these guys getting recruited. I want to see. And then, like, this running back breaks like an 80-yard run. You're like, look him up. And we pull him up on Rivals or whatever. And he's got like 3 offers, one from Kansas, one from K-State, and the other from like Missouri. And so that's a memory that I'll never forget. So you kind of knew, like, at the, the other part of your career, you were going to end up a Colt because you were already checking out games in Lucas Oil.
Well, it is crazy how things come full circle, because I've also in 2007, this is the place where I tore my ACL right before the championship game, and I was arguing or leaving and fussing with the fans, like so many people like to make mention of, and I remember saying, "I'll be back, I'll be back," and I really was just talking about the game. I'll be back for the rest of the end of the game, but little did I know that. And it could mean that I'll actually be back and here playing for the Colts. So I'll tell you what, I've also found out this town's great. The people are awesome. They love the Colts. They've been so welcoming, but they also they remember all those games. They remember them. So it's almost a little bit of therapy for them, I think, to get some of those out of their system. When we first talk, it seems like those have to come up, and then we can move forward. I have to bring up some of those games, which I know for you and I was one of the best on-field memories when Sproles bounced that 30 ISO and scored in Qualcomm to win that playoff game. That was one of the best kind of sporadic high five feeling top moments of my whole playing career. So I know you remember that one there. It's the Colts there back in 08.
Oh, hey, I've never been a part of a walk-off situation. Like, it happens in baseball all the time, but in football, you just don't have those very often. And then when you have it in the postseason, when you're 8-8, they're 12-4. They had just beat us in our building a couple weeks before that. Of course, Peyton Manning was the quarterback, and Bob Sanders was a missile still back then. So to be able to 30 ISO walk them off with Sprolesy doing that, that's like top 3 memories of sports for me all time, and it will never be replaced.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I'm not, it's hard to describe it, but it was one of the few, like you said, walk-off moments. They don't happen very often. So, so those usually get brought up early on in the conversation here, and then. But the people are excited. I'm excited to be here again. They've been great to our family and this early, short time we've been here, and kind of excited to see it all happen. It'll be certainly different. It's certainly a change up, but so far so good.
All right, last one, and I appreciate your time, Philip. I know we got to get you out of here. So your brother, obviously, Stephen Rivers, played for LSU, continues to follow LSU. So I've got to imagine last year was a good year for him. Did you have a chance to watch the LSU Tigers and then reinvent themselves offensively, get the Heisman Trophy quarterback, now the national title?
Hey, I'm telling you, yes, I did. Steven still follows like crazy. He's in his LSU gear every Saturday during the fall, and I watched them quite a bit last year, and actually. So it was unbelievable. The whole team, obviously, but what they did offensively, both Burrow and all the other skill guys, and then the offense, like you said, it was kind of it was different to watch LSU's offense spread out and do all the things they did, but it was exciting. So it was a heck of a year they had. Obviously, a lot of guys to replace, but knowing the type of program they have down there, and Coach O. And shoot the long history they have of success, I'm sure they'll be ready to put together another big time team and compete for another championship.
All right, there he is, Philip Rivers, man, good enough to join us for a couple minutes here. Philip, I appreciate your time, man. Been wanting to do this for a very long time. Best of luck to you. By the way, I'm going to find a way. You can't be playing, you're going to be playing the Texans, and if I'm allowed, I'm finding a way to get into that game. I'm coming to watch you a couple times this year, already starting to plan those things out. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
Awesome, Jacob. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. I'll see you.
Absolutely. All right, there he is, Philip Rivers, Indianapolis Colts quarterback. Phillip Rivers.
We'll get used to saying that.
He even admitted, he's like, I'm not used to it yet.
Well, I mean, he was in with the Chargers a long time. We'll come back and wrap up today's show, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Remember, you can get us on YouTube, the 104.5 ESPN channel. Subscribe to it now. Catch us always on CST 1130 The Tiger and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, as you know, Richard Tonda is the title sponsor here on Hanging with Hester and Hanny. You need to go check him out online, richardtonda.com, where you can do it all. You can check for specials right there in the bottom left corner. Of course, you can schedule that service. You pull right into their brand new state-of-the-art service center. They're waiting and ready for you. You can order parts and accessories if you need to do that. But you can also have a chat with sales right there on the website. So if you're sitting at home, you're sitting at the office, go check out everything they have at richardtonda.com, because the website is set up for success, whatever you need done. But as soon as you leave the house, as soon as you leave the office, we encourage every single person, go check them out at 13413 Millaville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. It's I-12 and Millaville, because they have so many vehicles that you'll fall in love with, no matter where you're at in your life, no matter what your lifestyle is. Cars, hybrids, SUVs with midsize and full-size SUVs. They have a SUV hybrid, right? And so they've got you covered. They've got the truck. They've got the van. No matter what you need, you're going to drive away happy over at Richard Tonda. As always, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Sports will be back.
But for now, we're all rooting for a different kind of hero.
Let's embody the best parts of sports.
Teamwork,
sacrifice,
resilience.
One goal, together.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business.
I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet and an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org.
Tonight on Game Time, we're live from Just Winging It on Hoosha 2. Josh Booty and John Delamorte will join the show as we get you ready for the weekend. Join us tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Coming down the stretch here, brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. Ask us. All right, Jacob, this one got us both thinking. Biggest celebrity in your phone?
I don't know. I've got Peyton Manning. I've got Landon Donovan. We had Chipper Jones on. Trying to think of like Hall of Famers in their sport. You might have me beat though.
I've got one. I mean, you've got a hold of. I got Shaquille's number,
that's a big one.
I don't even know.
Don't run it. He might still have that same number. We don't know.
Who knows? He used to do his podcast.
No, Gordy Rush doesn't.
He used to do his podcast here in the building, and we went to school together. So I had it. Not to know that I could get him on the phone, but I've got a number. So how's that?
I've got Anthony Rizzo. That'd be the biggest for Hunt Palmer. He's a Cub.
Right, so. Absolutely. He'd go crazy over that. Ask Jake, you still doing 6 other shows every day?
So we're actually recording some of the serious stuff, and so it's not all hitting at once. And so it's actually nice to kind of break it up a little bit. But, I got 2 different shows I do on Sirius XM, and then this one, of course, every day. So, hey, the more you can do.
Ask us, or this is actually for you, is Philip Rivers the only player in the NFL that doesn't curse?
He's the only one that I can think of. I'm sure there's other players that have played that don't use curse words, but Philip Rivers has never cussed in his life. Not the one. Look, I've been around him for a very long time. Even when he's repeating a story, which people that don't cuss, if they repeat a story, they'll typically say it. He won't even do it then.
Last one real quick. Ask Jake, how does retirement money work in the NFL? We don't have time to go through all of it, but how long do you have to play to be vested?
You've got to play 4 years. You get vested, and then it's a set amount times the amount of years you played. You get that monthly when you turn 55. Just one of the benefits of playing in the NFL. You get a 401k, you get an annuity, all those things as well. But that's how the monthly retirement works.
Thanks to Paul O'Neill and Kay Wazan for Jacob Hester. I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you, and have a great weekend. Thanks to folks at Sazerac. I'm going fishing, y'all. See y'all Monday. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a